Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American ESL Go4GW2 Cup number 39. I'm Storm, and as always with me is Heurix. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm looking forward to today's tournament. We have 8 teams in this one. Some pretty good matchup. A lot of teams coming back into this one. We definitely have a couple new teams. Looking forward to seeing them. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. We have at least four pretty competitive teams here. Obviously, we've got Abjured, and then we've got Spoookie, which is a new team name of a team that we actually saw get second last week. We saw QT, the third place team. As always, Radioactive is in here, and we got a couple of other teams, like you said, that are going to be pretty good. Something to look at for today going
Yeah,
forward.
yeah, definitely. So as always, this week's prize pool is $500, 400 going to first place, 100 to second place, and again we will have 3 gem code giveaways this week, courtesy to Wilco, the admin for NA. So thanks to him for those giveaways. We'll have those after each set has concluded. So look forward to that if you guys are wanting to get a gem giveaway. But without further ado, we do have our first matchup ready for you guys. It's going to be Team Spoookie up against Finally Legal. Looking forward to this match because there are definitely some names we know on both these teams. Spoookie, I think they changed their name from last week. Am I right?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay, they did. They got second place last week, and Finally Legal. Some guys have played in this tournament before, and I'm sure most of you know them. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at what we've got for these guys. We've got Spoookie over here on the red, and we've got Finally Legal over on the blue. Why don't you go ahead and take us away with Spoookie?
All right, looking here at Spoookie, we're going to look at Mime first. Mime is going to be operating on the double range Shatter Mesmer here today. He's going to be running Greatsword, Staff with Rune of the Pack and Berserker Amulet. He's going to be taking up Domination, Dueling, and Inspiration. Next up, we do have Happy Kid. Happy Kid's going to be operating on the same build as well with Staff, Greatsword here with Rune of the Vampirism, Berserker Amulet, and he's going to be using Inspiration, Dueling, and Domination for his setup. Next, we do have Pingu, and that's going to be Sunfish here on the Necromancer, as the same as last week we actually saw. So this is going to be the second time now that he's going to be playing this Necromancer role, as opposed to the Guardian that we're used to seeing him on for the most part, sometimes swapping over to other classes, but for the most part being Guardian past couple of months. But on this Necromancer build, he is going to be using Staff, Dagger, Warhorn with Rune of the Strength and Celestial Amulet here. He's going to be taking up Spite, Curses, and Soul Reaping with that triple Signet build. Next, we do have Kodo. Kodo going to be first of 2 Ellies, probably running Blinding Ashes, and he's going to be running Dagger with Rune of Vampirism and Celestial Amulet here. He's going to be taking Fire, Water, and Arcane with that Blinding Ashes variant. Next and last, we do have Schnicky, going to be using the same build for the most part with a quick sigil swap. Kodo operating on the Blood Sigil and Schnicky opting to take up Leeching instead. He's going to be taking Rune of the Vampirism and Celestial Amulet. He's going to be taking Fire, Water, and Arcane as well.
Yeah, pretty standard builds coming out from these guys. I think we saw this last week from them. Let's go ahead and take a look at Finally Legal over here on the blue. We've got Cyndaquil playing the first of 2 Guardians for this team. He's going to be taking that support Bunker Guardian that we know and have seen over the past few weeks, running with the Staff, Mace, Shield, rather than that Focus. He's going to be running with Soldier Runes, Cleric's Amulet, and he's going to be running Honor, Valor, and Virtues with the 4 shouts for himself. He's going to be taking Shelter as well rather than the shout heal. Edmondson is the second Guardian for this team, and as always, every time I've ever seen Edmondson play, he is still sticking to that Greatsword Mediguard build that everybody knows him for. Going to be running with the Greatsword, Sword Focus with Runes of the Flame Legion. Maybe some burn damage going out there. And he's going to be running with Marauder Amulet. He's going to be taking, looks like Radiance, Valor, and Virtues for himself with the old setup that goes along with the Meditation Guardian. So interested to see how he's going to play out against these Mesmers, more or less. I think that would be his main target. We'll have to see. Edison playing Thief for this team, running with the DP Shortbow Vampir's Marauder Amulet. He's going to be taking the Shadow Arts variant of this build. Nothing too special coming out from him. So he is running Blinding Powder rather than a Signet. And next up, Barely Serious, going to be playing DDLE for this team, running with Strength Runes, Celia Amulet. He's going to be taking Fire, Water, and Arcane with the Blinding Ashes. And finally, we've got Blaze, who is going to be playing the Mesmer for this team with the Greatsword, Staff, Vampirin's Marauder Amulet. He's taking Domination, Dueling, and Inspiration for himself with that Time Warp. So, expect some deadly damage coming out here from Edison, and Blaze. Those guys are going to be, they're going to think they're going to be pretty hard to deal with for this blue team, or excuse me, for the red team. But the red team obviously have their own threats with the double Mesmer. This could go either way. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be seeing, I think we're going to be seeing red team take this probably 2-0. I mean, this comp as well as this roster is it's just incredible, really. I mean, the only thing I think could probably beat them is probably QT or Abjured today. So I think that red team's going to take this. That Edmonton build is kind of interesting. I think the main reason he's opting for that Flame Legion is mostly because of the modifier. He has decent burn up time, so he's going to be getting that 7% bonus damage, especially after things like Judge's Intervention. And because he's taking up Radiant, he has Amplified Wrath as well. That's just going to be more burn up time. That's going to be actually some decent damage from burn as well. So he's going to have some good damage throughput, and
he really will,
dish out some good damage, both sustained and spike. So
I wouldn't be surprised to see people on this red team just fall due to burning damage coming out from him. We'll have to see, as we do have game number 1 underway in this best of 3 series. Winner looking to move on into the semifinals. Take a look at the opening splits for both these teams. We have 4 members of this blue team going to be crossing. Meanwhile, Kodo bringing out that FGS, going to be crossing for himself. Not even in stealth here, so they're going to be playing a 3-point play. Got more stealth coming out for this blue team. What else do we got going on here?
Yeah, looking at it right now, we're going to see 3-point play from this red team. We're actually seeing 4 deep, like we're saying, going right to Mime. Mime actually sees this coming. He's just going to opt to get right on out. It looks like Schnicky was looking like he was going to double back for it, but it looks like they're going to opt to just go ahead and get that 2-point right there far in mid. It looks like that Mime is trying to get away, but damage coming out from Blaze as well as the Thief here. Able to take him out instantaneously, and Mime is out of the match. He's going to have to wait for respawn. But in the meantime, they still have a 2-cap advantage over this blue team. If they manage to hold out,
Bear able to get that decap there. That was pretty good. As you said, they had that 2-cap. Bear able to get that decap just in the nick of time. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, it looks like Kodo doing pretty well in the 1v1, however, so it might just be a matter of time before he gets that back for his team. But yeah, definitely a good play indeed for that decap. But if we look over at this mid fight right now, we actually be seeing behind you, Law, actually forced to get out of there. They took the 4-play, went back over towards Red's home there on the mine point. Looks like they're going to try to hold that versus Pingu and Mime, who attempted to take it back.
Yeah, this is a pretty good portal play, especially since they're about to die there. So, you know, each team has their full cap. We're going to see a big push coming out here, or not a big, but Mime is going to be big himself. He's going to just take down, it looks like, or excuse me, Happy K going to destroy Barely Serious there. Now this blue team forced 4 members back on this mine point. That's going to be a really strong hold for red team, having 5 members with the blue team on the assault. They definitely have the numbers advantage and need to take advantage of that here.
Red team wins a
yeah, I'm behind you, Law. Almost taken completely out. He's forced into SR, still has about 20% HP, so he needs to be really careful as he only has a couple seconds left to his heal. But Pingu in the meantime taken out. Looks like that Mime also extremely low, manages the portal out, gets all the way over to the mine point, so he's going to be able to get Schnicky out of there as well as Happy Kid, and they're going to be able to get that full cap over on the mine point and basically trade that for keep now that blue team pretty much solidified that for themselves there.
We've seen like 2 of those portal points. We saw one for the blue team, now we see it from the red team. That was a pretty good job. They did manage to get a kill onto Pingu, but Pingu off of respawn now is a 5v5 on this map. We do have this 1v1 still going on over at this hench point. Red team does hold the 2-cap, going to get plus by 2 members. It looks like that's going to be Edison and I believe that is Blaze making their way to plus Kodo, and we do see a big push coming out from the red team at the midpoint. What do we got going on there?
Yeah, in the midpoint, we're actually seeing red team doing pretty well right now. Actually going to be taking out Cinda in just about a second, and there he goes down right there. So they're once again probably going to be trading midpoint for one of the side nodes. Looks like Blaze tried to get in there and do some damage, but Happy Kid just way too much there. It looks like Mime was able to provide some damage as well. Schnicky going to go ahead and get that full cap, so that's going to be a 2-cap in favor of the red team once again here. Looking pretty good. Kodo actually doing very well in the 1v1s. I think he's pretty much 2-0 in the 1v1s versus Bear. I mean, they've been stalemated for the most part, but he usually always had the advantage.
Yeah, until he got
had
plus.
The advantage in those, so.
Yeah, and then he got plussed, and then they got that point back. But red team did a great job of rotating. They moved to that midpoint. They've been holding on to 2-cap for a decent amount of time this game, but still, it really doesn't prove that they have a huge lead right here. But yeah, Schnicky getting kind of overexcited. Oh, absolutely bursted down there. Condi's going to tick him in the Vampirants. He is going to be taken out. Does Vaporform trying to get res more than likely? I'm not so sure it's going to happen. There's so much damage coming out from this blue team. We've seen that a couple times already. 100 O's coming out. Oh, but that Time Warp res really going to help them get Schnicky back up. Should be able to hold on to this keep point just fine.
Yeah, with him getting back up, that's looking pretty good for the red team as they put all the damage that they have right on top of Edmonton. Edmonton forced into the RF. Still doesn't really have a whole lot, but he's going to be able to get right on off of that point there. Looks like Mime already in downstate here. It looks like the res is actually going to come off, and it does indeed. He needs to go ahead and charge his mantras up, or he's going to be in trouble.
Mime taken down.
And
Happy Kid.
Damage there.
Oh, Edmonton actually taken down from that downstate damage, I believe, but they took out 2 members of this red team. They are going to get Edmonton back up with that kill onto Mime. Happy Kid taken out. So all of the damage for this red team is essentially off the board, at least the burst damage for them. Pingu's still in a 1v1 against Barely Serious. Barely needs some help here. He does hold on to this point. We are going to see the first 2 cap of the game coming in favor of this blue team, but Pingu coming in for the stop here. We are going to see the Vapor. He should be okay for the time being because he's going to get Edison on the point. But the decap comes out regardless.
Go for a plague stomp on Barely. I'm not really sure what that was about. That definitely a waste of resources there. But looks like because of the plus from his teammates there, they're actually going to be able to solidify that stomp, hopefully for them. But it doesn't look like that's actually going to be the case. As weakness comes out, they almost get the res. It was looking pretty good for themselves, but that doesn't look like that's going to actually happen. So red team is going to get this side note here, and they're doing pretty good on the caps. But this is not what you want to see as a team that think second place did very well versus DJ. Almost took the legacy map last week. This is not how you want to see them competing against this team here. I mean,
we did see a nice portal from I believe that was Blaze there. Got his teammate, himself and one other teammate out of that fight over at the end. I think they could have done a little bit earlier, but regardless, got himself able to hold on to that cap for the time being. Funkmaster Cinda going to be sitting on that point. Does get the decap though, as he just, I'm not exactly sure what his motive is running off point with no cooldowns right here. He needs to either get back on that point and die on it, or he's going to be taken out in the roads, and that's really not going to be good for his team. But we do have an assault going on over at the mine. Takes away with what's going on there.
Yeah, looking at the mine here, we're going to see Blue pretty much take this for free here. We're going to see Barely Serious going to go ahead and get the full cap as Red actually take out Blaze, I believe, or sorry, Cinda. Over off between Heap and Henge. He's going to be completely bled out here in just a matter of time. So blue team probably going to be opting for a group up here, going to go over to the keep together. It looks like they're trying to decide whether or not they want to go for Beast. If they do decide to do that, they're going to go ahead and get that free kill off on Svan here, get the free 25 points and some stat points for themselves for the next minute or so. And that's going to be pretty good for them going into the next fight, but they still have to worry about the fact that it's going to be you know, if Mime can get over to mid, it's going to be a pretty hard 3v3 because they have that Happy Kid. They're going to be able to basically 3v3, but with both Mesmers there, both Mantra Mesmers, I mean, that's going to be brutal. That's a pretty hard fight.
Yeah, definitely. So we do see Mime and Happy Kid both at this midpoint. We do see actually the red team going for Chieftain right there. They should be able to get that. That is the Ellie versus Chieftain, able to get that kill in just a few seconds here. So blue team still making it solid at this midpoint. 4-man push here, if I'm not mistaken. Their main target, I believe that was Happy Kid there. Really not taking much damage whatsoever. Able to mitigate a lot of that. Has time warp up still if he wants to go in for a res onto somebody else that it's taken down. But still, he is the main focus for this team. Getting pretty low. Vampirin's going to be saving him there. He should be okay to get out of this fight, though. Edison on top of him.
Yeah, blue team actually is going to manage to probably control this point here. Kodo's going to roll in and try to get some damage down and try to get some no control as well. As Snicky rolls back in, looking like he's looking for an opportunity here. And we got both Mesmers still, so I mean, there's still a ton of burst that can be laid down. The red team already has both side knives. Look like Barely actually pulled off going over to the Henge node as he did lose that mine fight versus Pingu, the Necromancer Selly Signet Necro over there from the red team. So he's going to opt to go into a different 1v1 now. Looks like Schnicky is going to opt to go and take this 1v1 with Barely. So far, Barely not doing so well in the 1v1s on these side notes here, but able still to control some of this and make sure that some of the caps actually get decapped. And
the damage that came out from the Mesmer there, I believe that was Mime onto Barely Serious, forcing him to lightning flash back up there, has no cantrips left. Now Edison going to be on that point, kind of all alone, needs to be very careful. We do see that portal come out, and they all portal to that midpoint, trying to take out Cyndaquil, who is taken into the downstate there. I'm not so sure they all needed a portal out there, because it was only Cyndaquil not able to support himself against that burst for very long whatsoever. So we're going to see that 2-cap once again come out for the red team as they still try to take this Henge point, looking to take game number 1, only about 95 points away. They're looking pretty strong. But, you know, red team definitely had some highlights in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
or blue team, excuse me.
I have to agree. Yeah, I mean, for sure, taking that fight over on Keep was definitely great for them, but red team is just able to kind of come back. Looks like Barely in trouble again here, and it looks like he's going to be able to get off some of his water heals, but Edmonton, in the meantime, taken out here by Schnicky as well as one of the Mesmers here. Actually, that was Schnicky and Kodo together. Looks like they're going to go for the res, and that's going to be pretty safe there as they are in Viz. So they're going to manage to get up their teammate. Kodo and Schnicky still trying to control this node here versus Barely and the Mesmer and the Thief, sorry, from this blue team. Looks like Senda is actually rolling in as well. So, I mean, blue team definitely has a little bit of a favor here as it is a 5v3, but still, like, red team doing pretty good other than Kodo, who's forced in the Vampirins, but he can get over to his water and
he's just running around. He's running around. So nice
And
portal
the
coming out
right
there. I believe that was from the Happy Kid, able to get them out of that fight. We are still going to see one member of this blue team. I believe that is that is Pingu. Actually still on this henge node there. He finally plagues. I was expecting that to come out there. So he should be able to stay alive for a little bit longer. He has pulled 5 members of this blue team back to this henge point. There is the GG actually coming out.
GG right
yeah,
there.
I didn't expect much coming out of that, but you know, red team doing a great job. They had some nice portals on both sides, I want to say, but ultimately, you know, red team really seemed to win most of the team fights.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was looking a little rough for this this red team, this team that took second place. I pretty much have to reiterate that at this point that this is the team that took second place, almost took a legacy game off of the Abjured last week. I mean, to do that well in the beginning versus a team like this, I mean, speaks volumes about this blue team here and what they can accomplish. I mean, they do have Cyndaquil on their team, a member of a lot of the teams that Sunfish played with, this Pingu Necromancer over on this other team. I mean, so I mean, they do have a very solid roster. We've seen a lot of these players playing a lot as well. I mean, Edmonton, I'm behind you, Law as well, Blaze. I mean, this team is very structured as well. It's just
yeah, I believe this is actually a team now, if I'm not mistaken. At least most of them are a team. I had heard a few of them had played in AG tournament recently, done pretty well. I believe they got second place, or maybe that was first. I can't exactly remember. It was a couple weeks ago. But these guys, if I'm not mistaken, are a team now. So this blue team, look for them in future tournaments. Even if they don't come out on top today, you know, even that first game, they still did pretty well against a team. Like you said, they got second last week, almost took out the Abjured on Legacy. You know, with some more practice, they could definitely take a game number 1. And who knows, they might even take the second game, looking pretty strong in that last one. But, you know, not quite getting the victory.
Yeah, I still think that we're probably going to be seeing a 2-0 in favor of this red team here, Spoookie. And I think that's it's basically because, I mean, they're such solid players playing a composition that is just so strong in the current build right now. I mean, that Mantra Mesmer build is so strong. Mime is very, very good at it. Happy Kid plays it very, very well as well. I mean, the fact that they can basically be wherever they want on the map and have those DDLEs just focusing any 1v1 as well with that Blinding Ashes build, it's just absolutely insane. Pingu can hold those 1v1s as well, can sustain on the point with that Plague Form. It's just so strong, and the Mantra Mesmers can basically just one-shot any build pretty much out there. So it's just insane right now, and I think that it's just a really strong team.
It's really their game to win if they want to, because if Happy Kid and Mime could be on the same page about bursting and using their portals, you know, when one of them doesn't have it up, making sure you can use it, because one portal could be deadly enough, but you know, the amount of rotations and plays you can make with just portals alone, on top of the damage that they can bring out, if they're on top of each other, you know, if they're together, they can really wreak havoc in these games and definitely, you know, I don't want to say carry their team, but carry them to victory in that sense. So, have to see. They did a good job last week. You know, remember, I believe it was on Legacy, we saw all 3 matches we watched this team play. And all 3 of them, they had a failed Lord Rush, and then they had an actual Lord Rush, except for against the Abjured, where they didn't get the actual Lord Rush to finish. I think it was super close. I don't think it happened.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing, and it was just seconds away from actually connecting until Abjured actually got that last point tick. So, I mean, it was pretty close. I'll be interested in seeing if they have the same concept. I don't really think that was something that they planned on.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional.
Didn't work for them.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they decide to do that again. We do have game number 2 underway with Spoookie up 1 over Finally Legal. We do have Finally Legal sending 4 people to their home point. Meanwhile, we have 4 people out of the main gate coming out for Spoookie. We'll have to see what their split's going to be. It looks like they're pushing a 3-point split. Once again, we're going to see Kodo drop that FGS. Pingu going to pick that up as well, trying to hold off a, more than likely, a huge burst that's going to be coming out at this waterfall. We have 4 members of this blue team spiking up, looking to take down Kodo.
Yeah, it looks like Kodo's going to go ahead and get into a defensive position here where he can't be immediately taken out, but it does look like that wasn't good enough because the Vampirins are the only things now that can save him, and he still is now taken out here. So they need to definitely be careful of that, because that's been basically the product of why they've suffered in some of these early fights, is because of that first person being taken out, with Edmonton kind of acting as a pick target there. Yeah,
now the Shadow Refuge coming up. They're going to give this red team the full cap on the midpoint. I'm not so sure about that. Bear obviously had to get out of there, but they're going to try and spike down. Happy Kid absolutely obliterated there as that burst came out from just a few members of this blue team. That wasn't even 4. I believe that was 2 or 3 of this team, but we do have reinforcements coming out for the rest of this red team. Able to get that near instant decap, so despite them getting that cap, originally I was mistaken. Blue team really didn't care for it. They're just going for kills here.
Yeah, and looks like Schnicky almost taken out as well. Got into his Vamp Rune, so he's going to be alive for a little bit longer here. Going to try to get some heals for himself. Looks like the portal play does come out, and maybe Pingu is going to be taking it. We'll have to see what happens. Mime does come back through. Schnicky back on point now.
Yeah, Schnicky trying to do what he can, trying to, you know, doesn't want to get bursted down once again, but he's in a bad position right here. Does get taken down below 50% health. Has Lightning Flash if he needs it to get out of this fight. We do have him, taken out. He did use Lightning Flash, but it doesn't look like it was a successful Lightning Flash. Double Time Warp coming out for both sides. The res actually comes off in favor of this red team. Good res, but despite that, this blue team still looking pretty strong. As Cyndaquil getting pretty low, doesn't have any shouts left.
Just like the insane amount of quickness they stack up from that double time warp that pops up. I mean, it's stacking those boons and stuff, and because of that, the slow comes out from this blue team, and Senda suffers from it the most, really, at least in my eyes. And because of that, he gets taken out quickly here by those Mesmers. Looks like he's going to try for the res. And that almost actually seemed like it was going to work, but the Daze Manager comes out from this blue team, or the red team rather, and that pretty much solidifies the kill there on Cyndaquil.
Yeah, there's some good reses coming out from the blue team, but the red team really, despite losing a couple members, getting some nice reses, they really regrouped, unlike this blue team, in the midst of that fight, and they take out Edmonton and Blaze there once again. So we're going to see a huge wipe coming out from this blue team as Edison, the last member left at this midpoint. We do see red team taking the side nodes, but coming off of a respawn, actually a very, very big loop around. We didn't have him out for respawn. Blaze went all the way from the midpoint around towards the gate. I'm going to get the decap over at the quarry, excuse me. Probably waiting for respawns. Both Guardians just coming off of it. The two caps still favoring this red team, starting to build a lead here.
Yeah, and Mime's going to go ahead and try to get in on this 1v1 with Blaze, but Cyndaquil is going to plus this, so it is in favor of Blaze there, as well as Senda. We're going to be seeing Kodo add here as well, and with Blaze already kind of using some of his defensive cooldowns, it's not looking so good for them. However, I mean, they've done pretty well so far, as Mime already here out of his Mantra heal. It has to recast that a little bit. Looks like the portal is going to come out there, and they're going to go right back to mid. They're going to give that one up as blue team just throws everything they've got.
Oh, there's the portal. Their portal, though. Blaze had one near the midpoint, so they're going to be pushing a huge assault to this midpoint. We do have that gate down we did see from the red team, so we can expect more than likely a portal Lord Rush at about 350 points. We'll have to see as that comes up here. But Blaze, main target for this team, has his Mantra of recovery up. Should be okay for the time being. Who's the main target? Looks like Mime getting taken pretty low.
Yeah, Happy Kid also is kind of low at the moment right now as well, and he only has one more power return left in his in his bar here. He's going to go ahead and recast that Mantra of Recovery, and he has it back, but the burst damage gets dropped right on top of him here, and he's already at 20% health. Actually gets taken out. Looks like Kodo going to be trying for the res, but there's so much damage being dropped right here by Edmonton, and I'm behind you, Lol. So they take two members of this red team out already, and now it's a 3v5 again here, as we are going to be seeing, actually, sorry, 3v4, as we are going to be seeing Barely still kind of sitting around on Quarry, making sure that that is in their favor.
Now they need to move right now to Waterfall. Go get that decap. There's no reason they should still be sitting at this midpoint right now. Edison needs to get the decap because it's wide open. This midpoint, they can get damage. It's only Pingu. They should be able to, you know, Pingu, I'm not so sure he's in Shroud right now. We'll have to see if he does have Plague up, but still should have went for that decap. Still has Plague. He's going to insta Plague. Now they don't even have a decap on any node when Edison could have been back to this midpoint by that time. I think that was a little bit of a misrotation on his side. We do have Happy Kid back in this fight. Bear is still near the quarry, as we do have respawns going near that point for the red team.
Yeah, so the red team did a great job. I mean, definitely missed a play by this blue team here. They could have easily have gotten that waterfall and at least strung those players out and been able to more easily take them out, because, I mean, you still had that Ellie basically keeping everybody alive, as well as Pingu there, kind of absorbing most of the damage. So the fact that they didn't string those players out, or at least get the free decap, definitely a misplay here. So we're going to be seeing Barely at about 10% health, doesn't have too many cooldowns left. Looks like Pingu and I believe that is Mime there are going to be killing him off in a matter of time, and they do manage to do that. I'm behind you all, going for the res here, and because he's in stealth, he is going to be able to get that because of that 25% damage reduction. Can pretty much freely res up anybody he really wants to when it's only one person, especially.
Yes, Cyndaquil did just get that stomp over the steps. Schnicky was taken out there, so red team taking the sides, blue team able to take that graveyard down about 150 points here. Red team, all they need to do is they can hold on, they can manage this 2-cap right here because they have 2 Mesmers with portals. So even if there is an attempted decap coming up from this blue team, they should be able to get back to it just, you know, barely in time. They should be okay for that. That's not bad on their part to play the side notes here, as some other teams might have more difficulties with that. We do have multiple members of this blue team making a push towards the quarry, not looking to take Waterfall back as their home node, though.
Looks like Pingu is going to be sliding into a little bit of a 1v3 as Kodo and Sneaky come right through here. They're putting some damage down onto this blue team, and Pingu is able to take most of the damage that's returned there from Blaze and Senda. So they're like pretty much just going to opt to get right on out of here, because red team is definitely going to solidify this cap here in just a matter of time.
Yeah, definitely so. We do have the red team. They are, probably going to take this core node once again, as blue team, most of their members sitting around at this midpoint, really just defending the graveyard. That's kind of a predicament a lot of teams get in when side nodes are capped. You find yourself struggling to make a push towards the other node because you have to keep a couple members back at this mid node. You really can't clean up a fight very quickly, and especially with this red team rapidly continuing to build their lead, nearly at 350 points. Oh, but we do see Happy Kid actually destroyed there, about a few hundred health left. Mantra of Recovery going to be able to keep him alive for the time being, throws down that time warp just to make sure he gets his heals off in time. He's going to be okay, but still, great burst coming out from the blue team, and decaps on both side nodes.
Yeah, we did see that, and we're actually going to be seeing as well Barely go down here, so red team might be able to turn this one back around for themselves, since we do see a 2-cap from this blue team here, and they're going to be catching up a little bit here, bit by bit. Blaze almost taken out there, but saved by the Vampirins as well, and it looks like he's going to be opting to teleport out, might be safe for the time being. It looks like nobody really going to be following up because they really can't at this point.
Yeah, blue team taking a first 2-cap in quite some time, holding that quarry node. They really need to be watching out for this portal play. All 5 members of this red team are up. As soon as they get a couple kills at this midpoint, I guarantee you we see that portal play straight to the Lord. We'll have to see what they're going to do. Edmonton back up into this fight, though. He is solo, so is Edison. Edmonton running for his life, has nothing left at his disposal, is going to be taken down there. The res coming out from Blaze and Cynical able to get him back up.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're able to continuously res up their teammates that fall, I mean, that's been really bad for this red team, not able to apply enough pressure. And you would think that with a Dagger Elementalist, or rather 2 Dagger Elementals, as well as 2 of these Mantra Mesmers, you'd think that perhaps they'd be able to do something like that. But because they weren't able to do that, they lost Happy Kid in the process, and now they're sitting on a 4v5 with a little 1v1 actually happening between Barely and Mime over here on the waterfall, and we're actually going to be seeing a little decap play over here from Kodo as well. So it looks like they're going to opt out of this graveyard fight, go for some decaps, maybe go for a hard cap over on waterfall if they can.
There's the portal, though. The portal is actually set over at that gate, and we do have Edison on top of Mime, knows it's there. He does not want him to even get close to getting a portal play. We do have Sneaky able to support him. Still, we're going to see 2v2 over at this waterfall node. I have a feeling, 1 kill, that cap, we're going to see that portal play coming out from Mime.
Yeah, they're definitely really into that. They're definitely really into taking that kill on Lord for sure. I mean, they have so much damage that, like I was saying, even for their downstate pressure, I mean, they just have so much damage with those Dagger Elementalists, so much healing and support, as well as with the Mesmers there, both Mime and Happy Kid. They're going to do so much in taking that Lord out, and basically Pingu could just sit on it and make sure that actually does happen. Looks like the portal play is going to come out. They're going to go over towards that glory node, or sorry, over towards the Lord now, where it is going to be Sneaky as well as Mime here, and this is actually exactly what we saw last week.
I was about to say this is a bad situation for the blue team, because Cyndaquil is all on the other side of the side of the map. He is all the way at the quarry right now. He is their support. This blue Lord, about 40% HP. He does get his heal off. Sneaky getting pretty low. Barely Serious and Edmonton trying to keep him alive, as Mime was actually killed there. So that was a great defense. Once again, another failed Lord Rush from this red team. Sneaky still trying to stay in the general area.
And in the meantime, Sneaky almost able to get away. It looks like he might be able to pull that one off. It doesn't, probably not for long here, but as the longer he holds these guys here, the more points they're going to get from this 2-cap that they let Pingu get. This is the exact same thing we saw last week. We saw a failed Lord Rush go into basically a free 2-cap from Pingu, and then as soon as they get everybody rezzed up, the Mesmers reconvened and they portaled every single person into that Lord, or at least 4 members into the Lord, and just took the free kill. Right now they're in a position where they could just wait the game out, and that was only because we saw a misappropriation of resources from this blue team in trying to protect their Lord. We're
going to see a 3-cap too, as we do see Kodo get that stomp onto Cynical there, able to pick that one up. Meanwhile, at the midpoint, we do have Blaze in a 1v2 situation. Both Mesmers, this is 2 Mesmers versus 1 Mesmer. Actually, we're going to see one of them make their way over to that waterfall. No, Blaze getting so low, 153 health in this Vamp runes. He is going to, gets his blink off just in the nick of time. Happy Kid not able to take him out there, but over at the waterfall, we do see Sneaky actually was taken down there. A lot of burst play coming out there from Edmonton and Edison, but still, at 2-cap, still holding on for this red team. There was a 3-cap for a brief second. Decap came out over at the waterfall. Like you said, they're going to hold this out. They don't need a Lord Rush. They've got this game under wraps.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't need to do it at all. They've got Graveyard 100% capped out. No one really in a position where they can do anything. Barely was already taken out. Schnicky gonna go ahead and try for some damage on top of him. Looks like they might actually go for the res. I'm behind you. Law is gonna go for it. They have so much res power there and able to get him up extremely quickly. The damage does return back onto Barely Serious, however, so he's looking to try to stay alive as best as he possibly can, but that does not look like that's going to be the case. Pingu going for the stomp here and does connect, so they are going to get that kill, and it's just a couple of ticks away until they get this waterfall capped out, and that's going to be the 3 cap there from Red Team, solidifying this game to going over to Spoookie for their first matchup.
Yeah, really, really good game from Spoookie. Legal, they had some nice plays, but ultimately really didn't hold a 2-cap for much, if any, of that game. And Spoookie, like you said, the same exact thing we saw last week. Went for that Lord kill, failed on it, but still held a 2-cap because the blue team really didn't manage. They failed to manage to rotate off of the points and get decaps where they were open. They sent 2 people back to the Lord, which is, I think that was needed on their end.
They sent 3 people, actually.
They sent 3 people back to the Okay, so that I don't think that was needed on their end. And Cynical was on the other side of the map, so no way he could have got there to support that Lord. I think that was just missed rotations, a lot of that game coming out from that blue team.
And they've been working off that for the past 2 weeks now. I mean, we've seen that. We saw it last week. I mean, we even called it before the match happened, and we saw it happen right in front of us. I mean, I'd be interested in seeing if it actually does happen again this week on multiple teams here again, because it worked last week on 2 of their matches, and almost actually worked in the grand finals match versus the Abjured. So I'd be interested in seeing if that's become kind of part of their repertoire, and if so, if teams are going to adapt to it quickly enough before they might actually take a weekly.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I believe their next opponent, assuming they beat Slippery Dingo Wranglers, will be Looking Like a Cutie. I believe they went up against them last week, if I'm not mistaken, and took them out with that exact same strategy on Legacy of the Foe Fire. We'll have to see how that matchup's going to work. I do want to say we do have our first gem giveaway, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if Wilco's around. I believe he should be. We'll have to get that sorted out on break here. So I believe we're doing a gem giveaway. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, we are. We got 3 today.
So are we good to do one now?
I can run it for him. Let's do it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and do that gem giveaway, guys. What should our tag be this time, Heurix? What do we want our viewers to say to us? Lord Rush again?
No, because it didn't happen this time, man.
All right, well, a failed Lord Rush this time.
We got a failed Lord Rush. Let's get ESL 39 this time. Let's do ESL 39.
All right, hashtag ESL 39 into the Twitch chat, guys, to be entered into that 800 gem code giveaway. Go ahead and do that, and we should have a winner for you after the break. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to the North American Go4GW2 Cup number 39, where we have our next matchup ready for you guys. We did have our gem giveaway. I believe that was AT Sete, if I'm not mistaken.
AL Sete.
AL, not AT, excuse me. So congrats to you on that gem giveaway. We do have 2 more of those later on after these matches have concluded, guys, so stick around for those if these matches aren't interesting. But hopefully they are, because our next one is a rematch that we had last week. It is going to be Looking Like a Cutie up against that team that we just saw take out Finally Legal. That would be Spoookie. Let's go ahead and not waste any more time, get into this match number 1 as we have both teams joined up. We got Spoookie over here on the red, Cutie on the blue. Go ahead and take us away with Spoookie.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be, for the most part, if really anything at all, they're going to be taking up the same builds as they were before. We're going to be seeing Double Range Shatter Mesmer again here, taking up the same Inspiration, Dueling, Domination, as well as the same runes and Amulet as well. Schnicky going to be opting to take the same Blinding Ashes, Elementalist, Dagger build as well. Pingu still opting for that Celestial triple Signet build here on his Necromancer as well. Same weapon sets there. And we're going to be seeing Mime take the same Mesmer build again with Domination, Dueling, Inspiration, taking that double range there, Greatsword and Staff. He's actually opting for that Rune of the Pack instead of the typical Rune of the Vampirism that we sometimes see. And last, we do see Kodo going to be taking Dagger Elementalist here with Rune of the Vampirism, Celestial Amulet going to be taking that Blinding Ashes variant as well with Fire, Water, and Arcane.
All right, we have not seen Cutie, so let's go ahead and take a look at their builds. First up, we got Vayne, who is going to be playing the first DD Elementalist for this team. He's running with Holbeck Rune, Stellar Amulet, running Fire, Water, and Arcane for himself. Next up, Ken, who's running, it looks like, support guard. Once again, running with the staff Mace Shield. He's going to be running with Soldier Runes, Cleric's Amulet, running Valor, Honors, and Virtues. And he is going to be actually taking... he likes to take Sanctuary. That's Ken's kind of thing. He doesn't like to take that third shot, so he will be taking Sanctuary with, it looks like, Receive the Light over Shelter that we see a few people take. So look for him to be putting out a lot of support to his team. Next up, Heurix playing DP Thief with Shortbow, Vampir's Marauder Amulet, running the Shadow Arts variant of this build with Infiltrator's Signet rather than Blinding Powder. Ageman running the second DDLE for this team. He's going to be running Rune of the Flame Legion. Oddly enough, the second time we've seen that today, as we had it on Edmonton in the last set. He's going to be running Fire, Water, and Arcane for himself. And finally, Zeromus playing the Mesmer for this team with the Staff Greatsword, Pack Runes, Berserker Amulet over Marauder. He's going to be running with Domination, Inspiration, and Dueling for himself. Pretty standard build otherwise, aside from, we see some take Berserker, we see some take Marauder. He's going to be opting for the extra damage coming out from Berserker.
Yeah, I really do like the Flame Legion setup here. I mean, I think that the damage that it puts out is really, really insane, especially when you consider the amount of burns that a DDLE can provide here, even with the Celestial Amulet. I mean, it's pretty staggering, so I think that getting some extra burn duration and some extra burn as well from it, definitely good. The 4 slot is not that great, but the burn duration and the extra damage modifier is definitely very, very strong, akin to something you would see from Strength Runes there.
Yeah, definitely so. But obviously, we had the red team take this 2-0 last week, if I'm not mistaken. Or I don't think this went to Game 3, did it? I might have.
I don't honestly remember if it went to Game 3.
I can't. But what are your thoughts on this one? Do you think we're going to see Spoookie, who obviously won it last week and moved on to play the Abjured, do you think we're going to see them move into the finals? Or do you think Cutie's going to come back and take this one? Because I remember they were very, very close matches.
Yeah, they definitely were pretty close matches, and I think that whoever does win this will do pretty well versus the Abjured. I mean, we saw it last week that people are starting to get close now, so whoever wins definitely going to be interesting to watch them versus the Abjured. But for this matchup in itself, I'd have to say that probably just because of comp with that double Mesmer there, we're probably going to see red team. But, I mean, both teams extremely solid, so I honestly don't know.
We saw this split from the red team last time they were on Forest in the last set. We do have Kodo making his way. You're going to get bursted down about 50% HP. Vampire's popping. He is solo, about 3,100 health, has nothing left besides some Cleansing Fire. It does going to pop that. Does go down regardless, so they're going to have the numbers advantage at the midpoint as Blue starting to file in there. Ken able to hold off for a decent amount of time, especially with H-Man in the area. So they're going to have a huge numbers advantage. Going to be a 4v3 at this midpoint. Blue team looking pretty strong right after that kill on to Kodo.
Yeah, they need to be a lot more careful of that because that's happened every single matchup today where they send one far and whoever is there, which is usually Kodo, just gets completely obliterated right out of the gate, and that's become an issue for them. So they need to, in future games, make sure that they kind of watch out for that, maybe play a 2-point play or play a little bit more reserved on that far point push.
Yeah, definitely so. Now we got a full 4v5 brawl at this midpoint. All 5 members of Blue are here. They know Kodo's on respawn, so that's a good rotation coming out from H-Man, knowing he's going to cross. We do see Shinky was actually taken down there. We do have Mime who put out the Time Warp, and a portal came down there. You're able to probably get Schnicky back up into this fight. He's not going to be able to go back to the midpoint with that portal right away, so Blue team going to have the numbers advantage. Really need to make good use of it as Pingu is in the Plague form. Should be able to hold on for a little bit as he has his Elementalist Kodo at this midpoint finally. This 2v4 situation, 2v5 situation actually at this midpoint. I'm surprised Blue hasn't taken one out.
Vayne almost completely deleted there by those Mesmers. He is going to be able to try to get off, and he might actually make it. But Heurix now in a similar situation where he's forced to re-stealth and basically just wait for his heal as it is going to come off in about 3 seconds here. He might take a target here on Pingu, it looks like. And Kodo actually looking really low as well. Vampire's saving for the time being, but he's still incredibly low here. This red team not doing so good on this map in these early team fights here because of those 4v5s that they get themselves into. It's really caused problems, and we're going to be seeing Pingu go down as well because of this. I mean, they're still very well into this match here. They are going to be catching up in just a matter of time. Possibly because of this cap that they still have over on the mine, but that won't last too much longer as Vayne is actually going to manage to get that decap, but we did see the trade there. Schnicky able to get that full cap over on Minge.
Yeah, we do have Mime finally taken out there just below the keep. We are going to see this Blue team take a 2-cap more than likely. Actually, no. Over at the mine point, we do have the Elementalist. Kodo come off a respawn, able to get onto the point before Vayne gets that full cap. Pingu is going to plus this fight, but 2 members Heurix and Zeromus moving into this mine point. Going to be a 3v2 in favor of this red team or blue team. Blue team still gets the cap, so they're going to be holding on to 2 caps. Start to build a decent amount of points ahead of this red team. Kodo getting pretty low is going to be taken out in just a few seconds. There he goes. Red team. I wouldn't be surprised if Pingo just pails out of here. He really doesn't have a whole lot he can do in a 1v3 situation.
Yeah, we might see a similar situation happening over on the keep here, where we're going to be seeing Happy Kid did actually manage to get a decent amount of damage down on H-Man, but H-Man able to stay in long enough that his team basically was able to portal in here, and they're going to be able to apply some pressure and make sure that they keep the keep, because they do have a 2-cap situation right now where they're in the lead. They already have a 20-point lead now in favor of themselves, so they're going to be able to keep this. Red team looking like they're trying to make some plays happen over on this mine node, where they are almost able to drop Vayne here. He's at about 10% HP, trying to get some heals for himself, sticking in that sanctuaries there from Kinsuda, and Kinsuda actually able to get off the shout heal for him as well, so he's back at 100%.
Heurix takes down Mime there, able to make sure him and Zeromus pick up that kill, so they're going to have the numbers advantage. Kodo getting bursted down about 50% HP, has nothing left. Lightning Flash up in about 4 seconds here. He is really low right here, has his water attunement, should be okay with that cleansing wave. Going to be actually pieced out of this node, sticking on top of Kinsuda. Kinsuda able to keep him off for the time being. Zeromus going to have a nice peel for him. That decap did come out at the midpoint for this red team. Not a huge lead for blue right now. What do you think red needs to do to start to build a lead?
They need to definitely manage a little bit better in terms of where they're going in these fights, because they have the opportunity to take out a lot of these members here with that double Mesmer play, and we saw it a lot last week, but they're really not getting a whole lot out of it this time. I mean, Mime walking right now to a point that they already have cap. There's no one even really near. Everybody is revealing the map. He's basically just went over really, really soon just to hold it versus H-Man, who did just come off of respawn. So, I mean, he was able to hold that, but, I mean, in the meantime, his team basically lost that keep fight there. And that's going to be really bad for them going forward.
Yeah, we do have Vayne winning this 1v1 against Pingu, actually. Pingu has full Death Shroud. He should be okay for the time being, but he is more than likely going to get help. It looks like we have Happy Key coming off a respawn. Vayne needs to be very careful. He's got to get out of there. He knows something's up. He is going to be taken down, not able to get out of that fight. Going to try and Vapor Form on the point. Should be able to get there. Yes, he does. Over here at the Henge, though, we do have blue team looking to take this for themselves, as Mime not able to hold off a 1v2 against a Thief and an Elementalist.
Yeah, he definitely is going to get dropped, and that's just a product of his team losing that keep fight there. He wasn't able to get over there and help them out, so they were able to get a free +1 because his team was dead. So, I mean, they need to make sure that they're thinking about that kind of stuff, or they're going to have problems going forward. Mime trying to get some down damage, just kind of keeping H-Man at bay for the time being. But looking over at this keep fight, we're going to be seeing Kinsuda on point versus actually Kodo, sorry. And Kodo is pretty low right now. He needs to make sure that he watches himself. However, Kinsuda in a very similar state gets dropped there by the Mesmers here, and they're going to try for the stomp, but they actually get
they get the res. That was a great res. Zeromus threw down his Time Warp there, able to make sure they got that one. So pretty good play from Zeromus, who was just sitting up top, making sure he could get some deeps. We have Vayne making his way to the midpoint. The mine point actually was not capped, so coming off a respawn, Mime probably going to cap the mine point. Still 4v4 at the midpoint. Heurix actually taking down Ken, going in for the res. Actually, Ken actually not actually going to go for the res here. He's going to piece out of this point. Blue team probably just going to go for sides, knowing that Heurix is out of this fight.
Yeah, Kinsuda knows he had nothing for that, so they're going to go ahead and you know, suffer the loss and just move forward and try to get over to that mine point, where it's basically just Mime there holding off, and if they can get enough people over there, they might be able to take him out quickly. Zeromus especially being one of those people that can definitely take someone out quickly, but they need to be careful here, because red team is going to follow them up, and they're going to be going in there very, very quickly. It looks like Mime's doing a pretty good job of holding off already here with that power block, dropping some damage down into Kinsuda already. Mime already now at 60% health. He does manage to get his miniature recovery back up. The Time Warp does come out onto the node here from Mime, and he's going to be able to make sure that his team is able to push members of this blue team off. Vayne right now at about 30% HP, 20% HP now, able to get a little bit of heals for himself. Looks like red team is opting to just play it safe, get back over to that keep point, and get ready for defense number 2.
Yeah, we do have a 2v2 going on over at the Henge, taking a look at what we've got there. Pingu and Schnicky, actually, I think they have the upper hand in terms of the fight, but the full cap still in favor of this blue team. Heurix on the point just before that decap's come out. He is getting so low. Yes, there is the decap. Heurix more than likely going to be taken down there. Has Torment on him. He is going to be, yes, he does drop. H-Man still in the area. I'm not exactly sure what his motive of running away from that point was, as Heurix was taken down in the process. Now Pingu just building up Death Shroud with that auto attack. Should be okay in this 1v1, actually going to get help from Schnicky. Still, we have the blue team going to be taking back that mine point after a long, very long, I think, chase that was back and forth between the points. They're going to finally get that cap, but still, they hold a very, very slim lead right here as blue team, or excuse me, red team making a push for Chieftain.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing a 1v1 between H-Man and Pingu here. Obviously, Pingu with a huge amount of favor there in that fight, and we actually saw Mime come over and +1 that as well, so definitely going to be in their favor. However, 4 members of this blue team now are in this area, so red team needs to get over here very, very quickly, or Pingu is going to be dropping very shortly. He does have his life force pool a little bit to save him in that death shroud there, trying to keep himself alive, but he is the hard target here, and he needs to be careful because once he comes out of life force, or runs out of life force, he's going to be in a lot of heat because he has
the portal.
6k health, but the portal, yeah, is going to save him. Red team definitely needs to take that portal and get out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm so surprised. Why is the red team sitting 3 people at the keep right now? Send 2, if not all 3 of those members to the mine. 3v1 Vayne, 2v1 and for that matter. We do see them slowly making their way over there. We do have Kinsuda actually aware that this is happening, moving through the beach, gonna go help his teammate out there. Let's take a look at what's going on over there as Vayne gonna be in a lot of trouble against Happy Kid and Pangu. So low, has so many conditions, gets his cantrips off, gonna get decapped though.
Yeah, he's being basically forced to pull off, and he is going to do so, and he's going to try to +1 that keep fight. Actually, it looks like he's kind of lingering around as we did see Kinsuda get onto the node, and he's going to be pretty good at making sure to handle that cap. But in the meantime, we still have red team in that 1 cap advantage here, and we do still see Kodo just kind of sticking around that point and just kind of helping out, making sure that he can get that kill over on Heurix now, who is in the downstate. Looks like Zeromus is trying for the res, and
a nice updraft.
Managed to get it. Yeah, that updraft definitely secured that a little bit. The damage being dropped back on Heurix again, and he might actually manage to get this 1v2 if he can get a little bit more damage, but Zeromus doing a great job of day spamming there and getting his teammate back up.
Yeah, that was a really good res coming out from Zeromus. That was a much needed res. They're down about 40 points right here. That Chieftain kill really giving them, that 25 extra point advantage. That's kind of helping them right here, definitely so. So we are going to see this red team still hold on to this 1 cap. Multiple members of this blue team are down. Heurix get taken into the downstate. No one even around for that res onto him. He's going to be eliminated from this match as Kinsuda finally makes his way back into this fight. Red team looking so strong to take in number 1 here. It's not over yet. It's still a very close game, but still. They were down quite a bit, and now they're back into it, holding a decent lead.
Yeah, I mean, this Thief definitely has a lot of trouble versus this comp here. I mean, the Mesmers can pretty much just 2-shot him straight out. We have 3 Selly classes that can handle most 1v1s versus him, so he's basically just stuck to decapping and staying out of most fights for the most part, except for just to kind of get a steal backstab in and pull out for the most part. So kind of rough for him here, and it looks like he is going to do just that. He managed to get a big steal backstab up, but he didn't manage to get a kill off of it, and that's been the biggest issue because that build is Selly. He can't get that free kind of 1-shot, and they just kind of turn around, put the condies on him, and he's in trouble. Yeah,
there's no way Heurix is going to take this 1v1 against Pingu. Pingu trying to get reset more than likely. We'll have to see. Yeah, Heurix not going to take that one, so we're going to see a 2-cap. Zeromus trying to get the decap onto Kodo. Kodo seeming to be okay for the time being. Oh, there's a decap. Nice knockback from Zeromus getting the decap at the keep node. They're down about 100 points. They need that decap. They got to do something quick, otherwise it's going to be too late. They've been holding on to a 1-cap for how long now, and just slowly building their lead to the point where it's almost game over.
Yeah, it looks like the next big fight is going to be on this keep where Kodo's pretty low right now, but Zeromus was taken out. Looks like red team is going to manage to get that kill off as Heurix is forced off the node. So that's going to be another cap here in favor of the red team. Red team going to solidify this. I mean, this has been pretty much the story for this map for them recently as well, where they kind of get into that 45 situation, and that kind of ruins them in the beginning, but once they're able to get the control of the map again, they've just been in full control ever since, and because of that, we're probably going to be seeing about 150 point lead differential once we see this game go to 500.
Look at the hench point. We got 3 members on top of, it looks like that's Vayne. They throw down that time warp. Vayne getting pretty low. Oh, Mime actually destroyed there. That was actually Zeromus who threw down that time warp. Excuse me on that one. Mime destroyed in that 2v3 situation. They just won a 2v3, but they didn't kill everybody, but they just held off a 2v3 because of Zeromus' burst play onto Mime.
Yeah, we actually almost saw Pingu go down on the opposite side of the map there as well. He's going to be still in that 1v1 with H-Man, but he's extremely low right now. He's able to get a little bit of health going for himself, and he might actually turn around and win this 1v1, but he was definitely in a bad spot before where if he would have went down, that would have been extremely bad for his team because, I mean, they would have been able to just turn that 2-cap around, and what I said before would have not been correct anymore.
Yeah, definitely. So at the midpoint, we do have Heurix in the downstate here. Ken coming in for that res. Put the Sanctuary down just a second ago. Looks like he should be able to get that. So much damage coming out there from Mime and Happy Kid. Should be able to force him off the point. Nice knockback from Mime. Gets Kinsuda down below. Not able to support the rest of his team. But Zeroma's on top of Mime. So is Heurix. He is forced to run away from this fight. Still the keep point in favor of this red team. 25 points away from victory. All they need is to hold on to that or get a Chieftain Spawner kill. They're looking pretty good to take game number 1.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case for sure, and looks like we're going to be seeing, even though that 2-cap, like you were saying, is going in favor of this blue team, as long as this red team can hold this keep, basically just keep the keep, it looks like that's going to be the case. We actually still see H-Man in downstate. Zeroma's not looking too good right now, and if they get solidified that kill, that will be the game.
Yeah, I think we're going to have them win that one because Kinsuda is the only person on point against Sneaky right now. He has a couple of knockbacks, but there it is. Game number 1 going in favor of Spoookie. Going to be taking out Cutie in this first match, looking to move on into Legacy of the Foe Fire, where, you know, that was a pretty, I think that game was a little closer. You know, 388 points is not bad. That's still a close match, but I think it felt a little closer than even the scoreboard showed.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I definitely think that game was incredibly close. And in the beginning, I mean, it was pretty ridiculous, honestly, that the blue team had just such an advantage, taking out Kodo extremely early, about 20 to 30 seconds into the match, and just holding him there for quite some time. If they were able to capitalize on that and hold that, I mean, they did capitalize on it, but if they were able to hold that, they definitely would have won that match pretty handedly.
Yeah, we saw Cutie actually come out at the start of that game holding a 2-cap and starting to build a decent lead, but then it just kind of all trickled down until the end where Cutie came back into it, had some nice fights, took a 2-cap, but still, they just let that red team hold on to that keep point, and then after that got decapped, they held on to mine for so long. It was just a 1-cap that game, to the point where I'm pretty sure they got 100, 150, maybe even 200 points off of that point alone, just holding it for so long while the blue team had no income whatsoever. So, you know, really good, solid game coming out from Spoookie. Cutie, not bad whatsoever, but they really need some adjustments this game, as this is the map that we see some spectacular plays from Spoookie.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'd be interested in seeing if they try the same thing. I think QT is definitely one of those teams that will be able to see that and adapt to it very, very quickly. And I think they're going to be one of the teams that is actually actively looking for it. I don't think that Spoookie will be able to do something like that against the Abjured unless the Abjured really makes some poor adjustments, kind of because they don't have that Mesmer to play. So if they can pull them to the home node and just kind of sneak in with a Mesmer portal, then yeah, they might be able to do it. But in this matchup, they do have a Mesmer. QT does have a Mesmer, and because of that, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull off what they're used to pulling off, where they kind of get pull three or even 4 guys with just 2 going in, fail the Lord Rush, and in the meantime get a 2-cap and solidify a victory for themselves, or at least kind of throw things to the wayside and pull them back over to their home node so that they can get a free kill on Lord in about a minute.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to see if that actually happens. But, you know, Zeromus is, in my opinion, the king of portals on NA. Like, he has some spectacular portal plays. And if there's a map in which you can make some spectacular portal plays, it is Legacy of the Foe Fire. So definitely watch out for his plays on that side as well for Lord Rushes if they manage to get to 350 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see a very close one come down to the wire where double portal comes out from both teams, Lord Rush. But anyhow, you know, are you expecting Spoookie to take this game number 2? I mean, Cutie looked pretty strong with some improvements from the last match. They could definitely take this one, but Spoookie, they beat him last week. They beat him that last game. Or you think they're going to take game number 2?
I think that they will take game number 2, but I think it's going to be incredibly close if they do, because like you were saying, like I was saying before as well, this QT team is just so strong, and we saw it in the last game that they can definitely take an early advantage here. And if this red team just kind of allows the same things to occur, where they just throw the DDLE off in far and just basically just get annihilated, or even at home even, they're going to be having that 45, and they kind of struggle to get everything back and recollect it. And because of that, they can definitely take that and on this map hold that momentum and just keep it through to the entire game. But it's all going to be based off of what happens in the mid game, because they can take the advantage, but if they let it go, they're going to have problems. Yeah,
definitely. So we do have game number 2 underway as we get the winner of this match. If it does happen to be Spoookie, they will be moving on into the finals. Take a look at the opening splits. It looks like one member of each team going to their home point. We're going to see Mime going to his and Vane going to his. But again, we're going to see 3-point play coming out from this red team. We've seen it every single match of theirs today. All 4 of them now, while midpoint going to be under a lot of pressure, as I believe that Schnicky going to be in a 4v1 situation. Got a little bit of help. I believe that's Mime over there, or Happy Kid rather, but still. We're going to see this blue team actually peel back to the waterfall node. Red team going to be holding on to Corey, the sole node of this map.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing probably Pingu and Kodo. Kodo going to be the first target here, but it looks like he is going to be able to make it all the way through to the midpoint here at Graveyard, where he is going to be able to get some support from his teammates, and it looks like, so he's going to be at 50% HP. He does have his water there. He's going to be able to drop some damage onto Heurix. Heurix actually might be the first one dead here, as he still does have 4 stacks of burn on him, taken away right now. It looks like they're going to be following that up. Kodo gets saved by the Vamp Runes, pulls off, but Heurix is going to be able to follow that up, and it looks like Red team is going to go for that res, but the chaos field there, able to disrupt most of the reses, and it looks like they might still get him back up, but it's not looking good for them. They're all so low.
There's 2 or 3, I can't tell. Time warps down. It's such an interesting animation that pops up there, but still, really good kill from them. We are going to see 2 members of this red team be wiped off this map. Meanwhile, we do see Vayne in the 1v1 against Pingu. Pingu actually super low, has 5.5k health out of this shroud. Wouldn't be surprised to see him taken out and lose this 1v1 as Vayne looking really strong here.
I just watched Zeromus completely annihilate Happy Kid there. He was about 60 or 70% HP and then just deleted from the game here. Looks like the stomp is going to come out, so Kinsuda there going to get the Graveyard fully capped for his team. Blue team opting to pull back. They're going to be able to get Waterfall full capped as Pingu is stuck off node, so he's going to be bleeding out, and they're going to be able to get Graveyard right there. So they're going to be coming back in this game, and this is the same thing that we saw last time, where this blue team managed to get an early lead, but they kind of let things fall to the wayside about midway through the match, and we're going to have to find out whether or not they're going to be able to hold this lead. It looks like they're going to go for a stealth play here between Graveyard and the Quarry right now, where Mime actually is kind of caught out, as well as Kodo, and they've honestly been going for Kodo a lot more often than anyone else, so we might see Kodo accepting some pressure very shortly.
It's looking like Schnicky was the main target here. He has nothing left. Used all cantrips he had available to him in that fight. He does get burning speed off there, trying to stay alive. Oh, he gets his updraft off, gets the heal from his cleansing wave there, able to stay alive. Really strong hold from Schnicky there. Gets some support from Kodo as well, but Mime still 100% HP here, trying to stick on top of Heurix. Heurix getting super low. Does shadow step back to the point where he is in stealth. It needs to be very careful. This fight could go either way over here at the Quarry.
Yeah, that was some absolutely stellar play from Schnicky, not just basically refusing to go down there, so he's going to be able to stay alive long enough to get the full decap over here. Onto Graveyard, looks like he might actually go for the cap. Mime looking pretty low right now, but able to return some pressure over onto Heurix. Heurix still does have his Vamp Runes at his disposal though, so even if they're able to put some damage on him in stealth, he's probably going to be able to live through that. Still at about 50% health, however, so he needs to be careful before he takes the next target.
Yeah, Heurix looks like he's just waiting for his heals, waiting for some cooldowns, doesn't know he wants to burst down yet. They probably haven't made that decision. Take a look at the waterfall though. Pengu has just got the decap as they forced, I believe that was Vayne, off the point, because multiple members of this red team pieced out of that quarry node to go to the waterfall. They didn't even bother with their Graveyard. Excellent rotation from them. Now the blue team are at the disadvantage here as Heurix is in the down state. They lost the cap on the waterfall, have about a 40-point lead here, and red team holding on to that midpoint just fine. Wouldn't be surprised to see them take this waterfall node as blue is a member down.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about, where they need to make sure that they hold the momentum. They overextended a little bit and let the red team get right in behind them, get the decap on Graveyard, and that's where they're having a lot of these problems. And we're actually going to be seeing Mime and Schnicky kind of stick around on Vayne. Vayne not able to really get anything going for himself there, so he's still on point, but they're going to be able to force him off pretty shortly here, and once they do, they're going to get the full cap, and there it does go. So they are in a 2-cap, regardless of what it says on the top there. They do have that 2-cap. We are seeing 2 points go. So over here on the midpoint, we actually saw Kinsuda drop as well. So red team right back into this game. Zeromus is full dead here, so Kodo going back over to the waterfall, make sure that they kill off Vayne, who is still in a 1v1 with Mime. Mime doing pretty good right now, though, versus that Elementalist, but it's just a matter of time before he probably gets blessed by Kodo here, who's on the move.
Yeah, Happy Kid Schnicky did go to that quarry node. It got the decap, no contention whatsoever from Heurix and H-Man. They really couldn't do a whole lot against that 2v2 as Pingu came in, or Schnicky actually came in as well to make it a 3v2. We're going to see a 3-cap come out here from Spoookie. Didn't expect that, as we saw an excellent opener from looking like a cutie, but still weren't able to hold on to it as this red team really showing their superior rotations as a whole, really, which has won this game thus far for them. You know, they're starting to build their lead with this 3-cap. It hasn't been game over, no doubt, but still they're looking really strong right here.
Looks like Zeromus almost taken out here, does go for the portal play. He goes through it, but since he has the resistance, there's a little bug right now where with resistance, the portal is applied as a condition there. So because he's using a resistance, he went right back through it and almost got himself killed because of it. But Mime right now is in downstate. Looks like they're not going to be able to get him back up, so he's out. Kodo about to be the next one here, so he's out too. Blue team right now with a 5v3 advantage. They are going to solidify this waterfall cap here. I would expect to see Kodo missed onto the point, but that doesn't look like that's happening. Yeah, way too late there. So he's going to be bled out on the node with Vayne just kind of sitting there. So a little bit late from Kodo, unfortunately. A little bit of a misplay. But on the midpoint now, we are going to see Pingu in the Plague form right now at about 50% HP. So he's going to be able to try to put some blinds out for his team and get something going for him, but Schnicky right now is taking a little bit of heat. Pingu still at about 30% HP, and in the meantime, Kodo still waiting on that respawn.
Yeah, he still hasn't even died yet. So this blue team really needs to take advantage of this. As soon as he dies, they're going to send that Elementalist. Yes, he's coming to mid. Vayne making his way to the midpoint. They need to take advantage of this 5v4 situation as Pingu is so low out of this shroud. He has 5,500 health, has his heal up, has a couple things at his resource. Great interrupts coming out there from the rest of the team. Trying to stay alive. Gets great support from Schnicky and Mime, trying to peel for him. A lot of damage coming out from the rest of the blue team as Heurix making his way to that quarry node, able to get that decap in just a matter of seconds. One tick away from a decap at the midpoint as Kodo just in the nick of time gets onto it. That would have been fatal for that red team to lose that graveyard cap.
The sustain of that Selly Signet build from the Necromancer is just absolutely insane. H-Man thought he was going to follow that up and get a free kill, but you know, Pingu turns around, gets all the heals out, all the leeching that he can, and he's right back in the fray here. It looks like he's going to be able to try to put some damage down onto Heurix along with the Mesmers of his team. Looks like Happy Kid went over to get some support, and they were able to take out Zeromus in the meantime. So Zeromus now bleeding out. Looks like Kodo going to go ahead and put some damage down on him to cleave him out a little bit, put some damage down and make sure that he's not going to get res anytime soon.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the waterfall now where we got a 1v1 going on, but multiple members of this blue team, knowing they lost at midpoint, don't have any control whatsoever on that side of the map of the quarry. So they're all peeling back to the waterfall to take out Schnicky, and Mime is now here. So is Happy Kid and Pingu, so they're all funneling back here. Great portal coming out there from the red team, able to get Schnicky out of that fight. We do see the rest of these red members just sitting here knowing they don't need to lead this fight as H-Man getting super low in here, has no cantrips left, gets some great support for the rest of his team, should be okay for the time being with Lightning Flash and that and the rest of his cantrips. He has them up now. He should be okay, but still, red team really starting to dominate with this 2 cap. Are we going to see a Lord play, or do you think they're just going to hold on to the points for the rest of the game?
Ooh, I think that we're probably going to be seeing them hold the points because they do have a really good position right now. It looks like Pingu is going to roll over. Looks like he's going to be doing some damage to the gate, it looks like. So he is going to be doing damage to the gate, so they might make a play out of this, but I expect to see them for at least the time being holding onto the nodes because they are in a pretty good position right now. They have been positioning themselves well, just kind of holding off, being on the side of their home node. And because of that, they are going to be able to take out Heurix there, who's going to overextend a little bit, but he's going to be right back up. The res potential of this team is pretty high, especially with that Guardian able to get in there and support as well. But looks like Happy Kid is going to be pretty low right now, able to get off some healing for his team, but they're going to try to return fire over on Heurix. Heurix actually following up on Happy Kid, got him to 50% HP, and looks like Happy Kid. Oh, Happy Kid almost taken out there, saved by the Vampireans again there. Gonna go for the portal over to the waterfall.
The burn stacks take him down. I believe H-Man got those 6 burn stacks onto him just before he got into the portal there. It didn't get his mantra of recovery off to get himself healed up. We do see Pingu actually going in for that res onto him in the plague form, if I'm not mistaken.
I do not think that that's happening there. That does
oh, wow.
Like it. And Pingu actually probably going to be dying because of that as well. We still see 4 members of this blue team here, and if red team can actually take H-Man out, they might be in a really good spot for themselves. Even still, I mean, Schnicky and Kodo, 2 DDLEs here, they're going to be able to sustain for a little bit longer, especially with the only person who can really dish out a ton of damage here is Heurix. Looks like Heurix is actually opting to go straight to the quarry, and he's going to probably be able to get a decap, maybe.
He has passive venom, gonna hit Schnicky with it.
That is going to solidify it there. Schnicky not going to be able to make it there in time, so Heurix is going to pull off, let the 1v1 happen between H-Men. Definitely an awesome play there from Heurix, able to get that just in time and get right over to the midpoint there, where he is going to try to get some support for his teammate Kinsuda by laying down some damage and putting them on the defensive. But as soon as he rolled in, the Dagger Elementalist and Happy Kid there just put way too much damage on him. So he's kind of on the defensive himself.
H-Man needs help immediately at the quarry. Why are they 4v1ing at 4v2ing, excuse me, at the midpoint right here? They need to send some support to H-Man. He's going to go down here. Yes, he does die. Ken making his way. Now Ken's coming in. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get this res. There's a lot of damage. Actually, no Mesmers here. He should be able to actually get that res. Great rotation from Ken. A little late, I think, but still, nonetheless, got that res onto him. They do lose the cap at the midpoint. Red team looking to take that as they did force out multiple members of the blue team from Graveyard.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing this 2v2 still happening here. Kinsuda and H-Man versus Pingu and Schnicky, and I have to imagine that they're going to be putting most of the heat onto H-Man here. I don't really think it's a great idea for H-Man to be trying to take out Pingu, because the more conditions he's applying to Pingu, the more conditions he's going to be returning to H-Man. So he needs to watch what he's doing here, but it looks like it's actually working in his favor here, as he is going to get him down to about 20% HP, putting some decent pressure down. Schnicky not able to get too much healing for his teammate there. It looks like he's going to be in some trouble very shortly.
Yeah, has some Shroud left. H-Man should be able to take him out here if they leave that as a 1v1, but the one cap coming out there at the midpoint. We do have, looks like Mime going to start to take down that gate. They don't need to, I don't think. There's the portal. Breaks through Schnicky. No one else actually coming through this portal. So what are your thoughts on this? They're going to have the other Mesmer, I believe that's Happy Kid, coming from the waterfall as he got that decap. But a counter portal coming out at the other side. Actually, no portal, just a counter push from this blue team. I think the red team's got this in the bag. They're way ahead of them by at least 5 seconds here.
And they have the advantage of the double Mesmer burst there as well, so they're going to be a little bit of a lead here. Kinsuda not really going to be able to be a whole lot of damage for this team, so if it turns out to be a race, red team definitely has the advantage here.
Oh, that Lord,
Red Lord
yes.
at about 90% HP, and that's going to be the game actually right there, as like I said, that double Mesmer burst along with Schnicky able to provide some sustained damage is way too much, so they're going to be taking that with a Lord Rush there over QT for the second week in a row.
Yeah, definitely a really solid effort coming out there from both teams. QT just fallen short. You know, they had a great start. It felt like the first game. They had a great start, and then they just went downhill. We saw a 3-cap that really allowed that red team to surge forward, Spoookie that is, surge forward in the points and absolutely dominate from then on out and get that Lord kill. Didn't fail this time, so that's a first this week and from last week. Didn't fail the Lord Rush first before they got it. So, you know, congrats to Spoookie. Going to be moving on into the finals to play, if I'm not mistaken, the Abjured. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
I mean, that's just going to be a repeat of the last week where we actually saw them almost take the Legacy match versus the Abjured, and the Abjured is actually confirmed to be in the finals already here. So they managed to go, I believe, 2-0 over Radioactive, and as well as the Death Watch Knights there at 2-0 as well. So they moved right along to the finals, so we are going to be seeing Spoookie versus the Abjured in the finals. And like I said, that is going to be a repeat match of last week. They were extremely close from taking that Legacy match, and they've been doing pretty well so far today, but they definitely still need to watch out for their early game plays, because they've been kind of falling back, and they've been lucky to come back and recollect and make sure that they are able to get back into the game and take the games. But if they do the same thing versus the Abjured, they can't expect to return fire as they have versus these other two teams that they have today.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really looking forward to this next matchup between Spoookie and the Abjured. We do have another gem giveaway ready for you guys here. So are you ready with the thing to get this giveaway going?
I am.
You are ready. So what do we want to have these guys do? You're on the show in terms of that the gem giveaways. What do you want to have people to have to say? What do we want to go for?
Let's do Wilco. Let's do Wilco.
All right. Hashtag Wilco into Twitch chat to be entered into that gem giveaway. I believe it's 800 gems, and these gems are courtesy of Wilco, so thanks to him. Gonna go ahead and go on a break, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to the North American Go4GW2 Cup 39, where we have our final game for you. It is going to be the Abjured up against Spoookie, an exact rematch of last week. Before we do that, I believe we had our gem giveaway. Congrats to Tiepo155, excuse me. Congrats. Going to get 800 gems. We do have one final giveaway that's going to be after this game has ended. It's going to be the Abjured up against Spoookie. Looking at these two teams, you know, we saw them last week. What are your thoughts this week with these guys?
I think this is going to definitely be an interesting one. Obviously, the Abjured are probably going to be more privy to what this blue team does on Legacy, and that's definitely been kind of like the story for the past 2 weeks, this blue team here, Spoookie, on Legacy. But I think they're going to be a little bit more privy to it, and I think they're going to be able to make some adjustments and make sure that doesn't happen to them and they drop a game. But the Abjured, such a strong team, definitely one of the quickest to adapt. So I think we're probably going to see the Abjured take it this time around, but it's definitely going to be a fun one to watch this time around for sure, as Pingu is now on week 2 instead of week 1 for his Necro gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. So we have seen some closer matches against the Abjured in recent weeks, rather than in past weeks where it's just been total blowouts. These are actually really fun to watch and cast here. So let's go ahead and get into our first game. It is going to be the Abjured, obviously, on the red, and Spoookie over on the blue. Why don't you take us away with the Abjured?
All right, looking here at Nos first. He's going to be opting for the staff. Dagger, Warhorn here with Rune of Strength and Celestial Amulet with Soul Reaping, Spite, and Curses as a setup with Triple Signet there. Pretty much exactly what we've seen him run since the patch there, with a couple of minor adjustments. But next up we do see Fanaram. He's going to be taking Dagger Elementalist with Rune of Strength and Celestial Amulet here. Going to be taking the Blinding Ashes variant of Fire, Water, and Arcane. Next we do see Wakey opting for the exact same build here, Dagger Elementalist with Rune of Vampirism, Celestial Amulet, Fire, Water, and Arcane with Blinding Ashes there as well. Next we do see Chaith, 5-gauge here, is going to be opting for the Marauder Rifle build with Rune of Strength. He's going to be taking out Explosives, Alchemy, and Tools for his build setup today. And lastly, we do see Toker going to be opting for Dagger Pistol here with Rune of the Vampirism, and Marauder opting for Trickery, Deadly Arts, and Shadow Arts here with that typical triple Deception utility play as well.
Yeah, and we have seen Spoookie this is our third time today. I think we saw them all 3 times last week, so we're just following them along. Let's go ahead and take a look at their builds once again, as we have Happy Kid over here still running that Greatsword Staff with Vampirunes. He's actually swapping to Berserker Amulet. I think he was running Marauder before, if I'm not mistaken, so he's going to be changing that up, running Inspiration, Dueling, and Domination. Once again, Mime going to be running Inspiration, Dueling, and Domination. Nothing changing on his side. He is running Berserker as well. I think they were running Marauder before, weren't they? I believe they were.
Only one of them was running Marauder, the other one was running Berserker.
Okay, so they're both on Berserker now. Marauder. So they're both running the Greatsword Staff. We do have Mime going to be running Pack Runes with Berserker. He's going to be running the same, I actually already said the traits he'll be running. Next up, Pingu going to be playing that same build that Nos is running with the Staff, Dagger, Warhorn with Strength Rune, Stella Amulet. Nothing too special elsewhere. Schnicki playing the first of 2 DDLs with Heurix runes, running with Fire, Water, and Arcane, and Koda going to be running the exact same thing that Schnicki is running, so no differences whatsoever in their builds. Pretty standard stuff from both teams, but both those Mesmers running Berserker. This is something that the Abjured, they kind of had some troubles with last week. We saw multiple members of them just get absolutely destroyed by these Mesmers, and every team is getting destroyed by Mesmers for the most part. So we saw that they had troubles with that last week. Do you think they're going to have the same thing this week?
Hard to say at this point. I think that Abjured is definitely going to be pretty solid, and I think that, like I said before, they're going to be kind of more knowing of, or more knowledgeable of some of the tactics that this blue team have used, and they're probably definitely more prepared for this double Mesmer, which was kind of the major issue for them last week. So
yeah, I guarantee they practiced up on this. They know what's coming. They're expecting that burst play that's coming out from them. Fanaram, we've seen some people, I believe we've seen Dribs maybe Ready Made. A couple of people actually opt for Mist Form over Cleansing Fire, going up against 2 Mesmers. We're not going to see that from Fanaram, however, so still going to be running the triple cantrip that everybody else runs for the most part, but they're definitely knowing that double Mesmer burst play is going to be coming out on the side of this blue team, so they're going to be ready for it this week. I'm not so sure they were last week.
So we're just waiting on a couple of ready-ups, and once they do ready up, we'll be underway with the finals match here of ESL Go4 Weekly number 39. Pretty close to that 40 mark, man, and even closer to WTS here, as it's coming up in just a couple of, pretty much just 2 weeks, I think it is, actually.
Yeah, it's just a couple weeks away. Looking forward to that. The Abjured definitely have to have been practicing a lot lately for this, because this is it. This is the third and final WTS that we know of, for that matter, and really looking forward to it. Who's going to be, we saw NA take the first one, EU take the second one. Are we going to see China take the third one? Who knows? We'll have to see. The Abjured still reigning dominance in all these ESL Cups, but is it the Abjured staying the same, or is it all these other teams just gradually getting better, and we've seen closer matches over the recent weeks?
I honestly believe that it's all these teams have kind of been coming together and practicing a little bit more, and because of that, working on themselves, and they've been kind of sort of catching up, I guess, is what it really is. And a lot of what's been happening also is kind of due to the most recent patch, with Mesmer's getting a lot stronger. 5-gauge has struggled for a little bit in trying to find himself a role on that Engie that definitely got corrupted a little bit, at least of the role that he used to play. But, you know, with Nos kind of very easily transitioning, I mean, there was really no downtime at all between his transition, between that patch before and after. He was able to kind of slide into Chaith's role, and Chaith kind of took up Nos's role. And because of that, they've been doing pretty well so far. But we'll have to see what happens, because a lot of other teams have actually gotten increasingly better since that patch, whereas this team is mostly the same.
Chaith running Elixir H? It looks like he is. I don't think we've seen this from anyone, for that matter. So he's going to be running Elixir H. I haven't seen this, but take a look at the opening splits from both these teams. The Abjured going to be sending 3 people in stealth through that beach. Meanwhile, Kodo is going to do the same exact thing we've seen him do in the last 3 sets. Going to be piecing off to that mine point, playing 3-point, while the Abjured actually going to be playing 3-point as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. We're going to see a 1v1 between Mime and Fantram. Looks like Toker's kind of hanging around. Looks like he's going to opt to go over to that mid fight, where it is going to be a 3v3. We're going to be seeing an Elementalist, a NG, and a Thief here. We actually saw Happy Kid go straight down there. Toker completely eliminated him there with the Fiery Whirl from the Fire Greatsword and porting on him. So that was really quick play there from Toker, and they're going to be able to eliminate that player. And this has just been basically the story of today for this team here. Once they get out the splits, they're in a 4v5, and it's been a struggle ever since.
And the thing is, Kodo went to that mine point. Nos got the full cap before he even got to the point. He's just wasting his time over there. There's no reason he should be there. That's the main point you go to that. The main reason you go there solo is to hold it off, and he has the full cap. There's no reason I don't think that he should be in that fight whatsoever. So just kind of, he's not really, I do want to say he's kind of just wasting his time over there at the mine, but he is still sitting over here. We'll have to see if he gets that decap or not. However, Mime still in that 1v1 against Phantom. No one seemed to have gotten the kill yet, as Toker pluses this fight over at the midpoint, though. Pingu and Shnicky both taken out. Really good start from the Abjured.
Yeah, it looks like Kodo actually doing a pretty decent job versus Nos right here, where obviously he doesn't have the favorable position. We're actually going to see Chaith come in and drop some damage down onto Kodo. Kodo actually is still sort of winning that fight. Nos was able to manage to get that cap all the way back up to 100%. Still kind of low right now, but he's probably going to be out of combat, as Kodo is in a running away situation.
I mean, what do you think that even if 5Gauge didn't plus that fight and he had won that, there was a significant amount of points that the Abjured had gotten from holding that line. Do you think that push, even though he didn't get get on the point before it was full cap, do you think that was a wise decision on Kodo's part?
I don't think that, I mean, he's still doing it is the problem, and we actually saw Phantom go down. They are going to get the full kill on him, so blue team is going to secure this hinge node and push the fight over towards the heat, but I still don't really think that what he's doing, I mean, I know what Kodo is doing. He's trying to keep Nos out of the team fights. He's trying to keep him out so that they can use Shnicky, they can still use their Mesmers and keep Nos from spreading a lot of the conditions that they apply in some of their fights over to a lot of their other members, because the Vuln stacking coming from the Mesmers is a lot there, and they just want to keep Nos out of the fight. So I get what Kodo is doing, but I'm not sure if it's still a good allocation of resources, because he at the very least could move him to a different location, or maybe take advantage of the fact that Nos is very slow on this build outside of his movement speed buff. I mean, there's a lot of different things that he could do, but fighting on a point that's already capped, I'm not so sure about at this point.
Yeah, we did see Chaith just use Elixir S, going to be getting that Rampage looking for him. He is sticking on top of Pingu. Pingu has full Shroud, should be okay for the time being. Going to mitigate a lot of that damage with it, trying to get a nice mob onto Chaith. Chaith super low though, is forced to Elixir S. Will he get enough support? Double Elixir S coming out from him. Wakey gonna probably try and support him off of reset. Yes, he's gonna get his heal off. Should be okay for the time being. No cap node for this blue team. Really gonna hurt them. Down over 100 points already. About 3.5 minutes into this game.
Yeah, they're still kind of holding on for the meantime, though. Looks like Happy Kid, if he's able to get away, he might be able to get his heal off. That looks like that is going to be the case. He's going to try to prepare another one there. Looks like 5Gauge looking for him. Still, Pingu right at about 10% HP. Doesn't have too much at his disposal here. He is in Death Shroud here, going to try to keep himself alive in it for as long as possible, but the Condis are laid down on him. He is trying to stay alive. Wakey is getting pressured a little bit, but that is going to be enough to take down Pingu. Pingu down right now. Looks like nobody from the blue team is even going to try to get the res, and I think that's a good call, because with Chase in the area, with Wakey in the area, they're definitely not going to be able to pull that one off. So red team now is going to take the keep here, and it looks like because of the 1v1 that's happening over on Hinge, there's not going to be anything really happening over on the Hinge anytime soon.
I mean, my point, we do see the plus coming out from Shnicky, as Nos did plague there because he was about to lose to Kodo, and we do see Schnicky able to take him out. We do have Chafe actually in the area. So is Toker. Good stealth coming out from there from Chafe. The decap might happen. Decap happens, but they got Nos back up into the fight. That's what matters in the long run. He should be able to get back up a decent amount of his health here with all the lifesteal he has. Schnicky was taken out in this fight. It's a 3v2 here. Blue team able to cap that node over at the hinge finally, but still down a significant amount of points early on this game.
Yeah, Abjured still with just way too much control for them right now, and because of that, they're definitely going to be holding on to this for quite some time. There's still a 1-to-1 cap, but it's just a matter of time before Nos gets the full cap back on mine. Kodo did a really good job actually in the 1v1, able to keep Nos out of the fight, and was getting some points towards the decap, actually held Nos very, very low, was doing very well in a 1v1 versus Stelly Signet Necro, which is actually pretty surprising as a Dagger Elementalist, but once Schnicky got over there, he managed to get him down, but, you know, because of the fact that they're losing everywhere else, because of the fact that he's fighting on a node that's already capped in favor of the other team, they're just kind of losing everywhere else at this point.
Yeah, definitely so. And Kodo finally off of that point at the mine. That was what, about a 4.5 minute fight, and he's on respawn. He's probably going to take it again on Nos. We'll have to see what he decides to do. No, going to go back. But at the midpoint, we do see Schnicky was taken down. The rest of this blue team just sitting on the ledges here. Mime going for the decap at the mine. He should be able to get it because Nos is too preoccupied with Kodo debating whether or not he wants to go to that point. So he's going to get decapped while he was sitting around the beach. Nos probably just going to take a 1v1 over at the hinge. What's going on at the midpoint?
At the midpoint, we actually saw Chase take up the Elixir Elite there. He did manage to get a Rampage off of it, and because that Pingu is in the downstate here, Wakey just opting to bleed him out because they do still have that cap. Looks like they're going to follow up on some damage that they did over onto, I believe that was Kodo, but Kodo was able to stay alive for a little bit longer. Looks like he's just kind of trying to decide where he wants to go, and that is going to be far here, as we are going to be seeing Mime in a 1v1 right now with Fanaram, which has been pretty much the story of today as well, where we've been seeing a lot of Fanaram versus Mime, but we are going to be seeing actually Toker go in on this. Nos is in the downstate over on Hinge. Looks like Chase is going to go for the res, might actually pull it off, and actually, almost able to get it.
That was an excellent. That was a great amount of CC.
He does manage to get him up. Chase now at about 2% HP here, able to get some heals off for himself. Doesn't have too much still in his repertoire there for defensive utility at least, but it looks like with Wakey coming in, they might be able to do something. The kill does come off. Happy Kid was able to connect a Shatter Burst there, able to take out Chase, but Chase still just kind of sitting there, still in a position where he could potentially get res, but in the meantime, Nos actually taken out as well. So blue team finally in a position where they could potentially take this and turn it around, but how long they're going to be able to hold it is basically the question for us right now. Yeah,
Kodo in a 1v2 over at the mine points. They just take that cap, Fanaram and Toker all over him. We do see multiple members of this red team make their way back to the, or blue team, excuse me, make their way to the midpoint, trying to, you know, take on a 2v1. We do have respawns coming out for both these teams here. Kodo running for his life, doesn't have anything left. Let's see if Toker and Fanaram going to take him out. He's just running around trying to lead them on a wild goose chase. We do have coming off a respawn. It looks like a Mesmer. I believe that's Mime. Yes, going to probably, looks like he might go for the res onto Kodo. Not so sure what this is about. Actually, Blinks up here trying to get past Noskok, who, that would be an excellent play if he got that decap. Unfortunately, it doesn't.
Yeah, and Nas is going to be able to control that. He is off node though, but no one anywhere close to him to be able to get that decap and take advantage of that. Wakey is in downstate over towards the midpoint here, and they are going to manage to get that in just a matter of time. And the question is whether or not they're going to be able to kill Fanaram along with it. Fanaram is pretty low right now, but able to get off a lot of his healing in that that water attunement there. He's going to cycle over and try to get a 1v1 on Mime, who actually did manage to get that decap there. The portal is down, so Nas going to roll in as well. Definitely not looking good for Mime right here, but Pingu's going to roll in there, and that's going to be definitely an interesting 2v2 to watch. Yeah, Toker tried to get the res onto Wakey, but wasn't able to. Good defense from Happy Kid. Made it so he had to be bled out. Toker getting pretty low still. Happy Kid actually went with him to that mine point, able to take him out. Now Fanaram's the one running away from the mine point, running for his life. Nos looks pretty healthy over at the mine point, but going to be in a 3v1 situation. We'll have to see where Fanaram decides to go. Might take the 1v1, might move to the midpoint, as that is decapped. I think that would be the best choice for him right now, but Nos in a bad situation, trying to go in for that plague res onto Toker. I don't think that's going to happen. He's probably going to be taken out here unless Wakey's able to support him. Yeah, that is going to be a kill there. Fanaram still in the area. Nos very, very low right now. Doesn't have too much. He does have his plague form happening right now. He was able to go straight into that death shroud, but he only has about 50% of his life force pool, and as soon as that ends, he is slowed right now as well, so that's going to be it for him, and they do have the potential for a quickness stomp here. Looks like they're going to opt to just bleed him out, and that is going to be the case, and we are going to be seeing the fear come out just before Nos takes the takes the bullet, but that is going to be a cap in favor of this blue team here, who has the opportunity once again to turn this back around. But Kodo right now trying to follow up on Toker. Toker going to be able to probably get that decap in just a matter of time. Looks like he's opting to go for the 1v1 instead. Kodo going to get back on that point, so looks like he's going to be able to save that. But looking at this key fight, we're going to be seeing Schnicky right now and Mime actually in a 3v2 versus this, or rather 2v3 versus this Abjured team, where actually Che just absolutely obliterating Schnicky with the rest of his team there. Mime going to be able to get off the, they actually managed to mow a Fanaram there. Fanaram at about 30% HP now. It looks like they still haven't gotten Schnicky up quite yet. As they did manage to get the portal, they're going to be going back over to the mine point, get the res, and get back over to that keep as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, they do hold the sides right. They do hold the sides right here. Well, it's not. It's kind of unrealistic to call a comeback, but the Abjured looking so strong at the midpoint, trying to take down Pangu. He was pretty low. He did pop Plague there, so should be okay for the time being. But Fanaram and Wakey still going to put out so much damage onto him. We'll have to see if Fanaram's able to land that Churning Earth. I believe he did. We do have Toker going for the decap over at the mine point, and the decap came out from Nos over at the hand show, able to make sure they don't hold on to those sides for too long.
Yeah, and this is probably where Abjured is just going to put the nails in the coffin here. Pingu still in downstate on the point. Wakey going to go for the free stomp, and it does connect there, so it looks like the portal's going to come back. They're going to try to get some support over onto the mine node, recap that one, but in the meantime, we are going to be seeing Mime go over and support that kill over on Nos, so Kodo is going to last long enough there. However, wasn't able to dodge that fear there, accepts it, and is able to get the stomp now. So he's going to be able to get some cap points over towards the hinge, and that's going to be in favor of them, but it's pretty much going to come down to what they can do onto this mine node if they can stay alive, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as Mime was just obliterated there. Chase follows it up with some DPS on the downstate there, so Fanaram going to probably stick around and get the full cap here. Schnicky actually going right back in, but he's very, very low. Looks like the decap is happening over on the keep as well.
I think Wakey should be able to take out Wakey. Wakey actually solo has Condi's taken on him. Will he be taken down? He should be okay for the time being. Going to get some support from 5Gauge, able to get out of that one alive. That's a pretty good rotation from Wakey, getting out of that point. Knows he doesn't have to hold on that point. Now they have multiple members of the Abjured making their way back to the mid. They don't hold on to a point currently, but not far from a victory, as they're still looking to clean up that mine fight. They hadn't quite won that. Rotation's coming out for this blue team. Spoookie really proving to hold on at the mine point. What's going on over there? As we see a couple members down actually for Spoookie. Kodo, Happy Kid's the only one left.
Yeah, Happy Kid is the only one left. Looks like he's going to try for a res on Kodo. Might actually manage it here, and it does look like that's going to happen. So looking good for them, as Toker's pretty low, and he was just kind of waiting to see what would happen. It looks like actually he tried to get some DPS on Kodo, but Kodo actually had his Shocking Aura up, protect him from the for the meantime. Looks like this is going to be a 2v1 in favor of the blue team, and if they are able to take out Phantom very quickly and keep everything else decapped and actually capped actually with Schnicky, probably going to be able to get in a 1v1 with Nos maybe, but looks like Nos is going to opt out of that, which is interesting as a Celia Signet Necro. But I mean, Kodo actually has been doing a pretty good job versus that so far, which is pretty surprising in my eyes.
Yeah, now Mime's pretty low. 5Gauge sticking on top of him with that auto attack. Won't be able to take him out. Has managed of recovery. Nice blink up there, should be able to get that off. Still at the mine point. Neither team has cleaned up this fight. Red team, the Abjured, do manage to take that midpoint. Going to probably hold on to that for the rest of the game. Fanaram still pretty low over here at the mine point. Trying to be taken down by a few members of this Spoookie team, but still, I mean, we have Pingu coming off a respawn, making his way to the mine. They're just funneling into this point and holding on as long as they can, but that mid, they don't get a decap mid. That's game over for Spoookie.
Yeah, they definitely need to get something going for sure, very, very quickly. And with Wakey doing such a great job of sustaining here, they're gonna be hard pressed to do so. 5Gauge putting some damage on the point as well, so they definitely can't get on the node at this current moment. But we're gonna be seeing Chase, oh my God, almost completely obliterate Schnicky as he goes down from that pillar there. Put some damage back on him as well. But Schnicky's gonna be able to peel off, get some heals for himself. But you know, if they're not gonna be able to get some damage on Wakey, they're definitely not gonna get this decap. And with both of these guys here, I just don't think I see it coming. We see Wakey taken out now, but they were pushed. Chase was pushed off point.
I think Mime just carried that fight right there, because Chafe tried to Elixir S. Mime interrupted it, putting it on a 15-second cooldown. Now he's Elixir X, but it's too late to use it. I think Mime just won that fight at the midpoint from great interrupt coming out there from his mantra, making sure Chafe wasn't able to go Elixir S. Now he gets his Elixir X off, but gets the Tornado. Not really going to help him. This Mine fight's everything right now. No one left over here except for Happy Kid. He's not going to be able to hold on very long. He is in the downstate. The Abjured probably going to kill him here and take this game number 1.
Looks like we're going to be seeing a couple members of this blue team try to cycle over, but I'm just not sure if I see it happening. That is not going to be the case. That kill is going to make it game 1 in favor of the Abjured. I mean, honestly, the last half of that match was pretty good for that blue team. I mean, we saw at least sort of a comeback. Kodo was able to hold Nos off in some of those 1v1s and do a pretty good job of that. It's just, in the beginning of the game, they just let too much of it go to the wayside, and Kodo was able to handle the 1v1s, but it was on a capped point. If he was able to do that on a decapped point, then I think they would have been a lot better off, and they probably, maybe, if everything had gone the exact same way aside from that, they probably would have been able to pull off a win from that, because Kodo was just kind of allowing those points to tick away while he was in a 1v1 just kind of stalemating it. But you know, aside from that, they did pretty well here, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do in Legacy, the map that has been most interesting to watch for this Spoookie team.
Yeah, that was a really, really good, valiant effort of them trying to get back into that one, but not able to pull off. The Abjured just too far ahead in that one. We'll have to see. You know, last week, it was Legacy the Fofar. That was the closest game that we had. It was about a 100-point win, if I'm not mistaken, for the Abjured, or it was like 150, 100-point win, but it really felt like 500 to 499 because that Lord was so close to going down from this Spoookie team. We'll have to see if they're going to play the same way they did last week, but the Abjured probably can expect, you know, of every single game last week and today, this Spoookie team have went for a Lord push, so the Abjured can only expect it coming.
Yeah, I think they're going to be aware of something like that happening if it does indeed happen, but I'm not so sure that they're going to play it that way. It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to play it, and they're probably honestly talking about it right now because, I mean, how can you ignore it at this point? It's been why they've won these games pretty consistently. It's why they actually got pretty close to beating the Abjured last week, so it's definitely something they're all talking about and thinking about and kind of discussing between them. It looks like we see maybe one DC here. Looks like Nos, actually. I think he might be switching characters, though.
Don't believe he got offline, so he's is he going Minion Mancer Nos? Will we see Minion Mancer Nos?
He is on Condi Nos, so it's going to be...
We saw him last week on Minion Mancer, who knows?
Alright, he's in the room, so we'll go ahead and take a look at his build once he gets in here, and we're hopefully going to see the teams ready up here.
Still hasn't joined up. I'm really curious to see what he's running. If he's actually running Condis or if he's running his Minion Mancer build.
I don't think he's running Condis, like actual Condis. I seriously doubt that. I think this is his Minion Mancer build. He was kind of messing with it a little bit earlier today. I saw him on it.
Oh, no.
And this is going to be a Selly build here. He's opting for Corrupt Boon. So he's going to be taking Staff, Dagger, Warhorn here with Rune of Vampirism, Celestial Amulet. He's going to be taking Blood Magic, Curses, and Soul Raping here. He's going to get that transfusion there as well. So this is something that we did see, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks ago him play. It's just the Blood Magic variant of his other build, and this is going to be 1 Signet here instead of 3, opting for Consume Conditions and Corrupt Boon, as well as that Plague Signet and Spectral Armor here. So has a little bit more sustain perhaps, and definitely a little bit more team support because you can go for those reses, get that Well of Blood out. He does have the Vampiric Aura as well as the Presence, and with the Transfusion he's able to secure some reses for his team and kind of support the 1v1s. He is opting to take Soldier Amulet as opposed to Celestial, but I'm not sure if he's going to be switching that back around. However, he is actually opting to switch classes. So that won't be happening at all anyways.
Yeah, I'm wondering what he's thinking right now. If he's just kind of troll us around here, or if he was actually considering running that. Probably going back to his normal build. We'll have to see as we just waiting on Nos once again, been holding us up here. But, you know, are you expecting the same thing from last week that's going to be coming out from Spoookie? Or do you think the Abjured's going to be able to clean it up here?
It's hard to say. I think that Abjured is probably going to be able to clean this up. I think they're going to be able to see a lot of this stuff coming. It looks like we're going to be seeing Nos switch back over. It looks like he's making a couple of build adjustments still, but he's going to be taking Staff, Dagger, Warhorn as always for his build, but he's going to be switching to Soldier Amulet with Rune of Strength, still going with Blood Magic, Spite, and Soul Reaping for this setup with the Signets there this time around. Yeah,
so very similar variant, but Soldier Amulet being the major change coming out from him. We'll have to see how he does with this. He's probably just trying to be like, all right, you know, they're still doing so much damage to me. I don't think it really was an issue on him, the double Mesmer, but perhaps he's thinking this time it might be a little bit more deadly. We'll have to see how it works out for him. And if they're gonna, you know, if Kodo takes that 1v1 again, I'm sorry, but that's not gonna happen, especially if Nos gets that full cap.
Well, he is going to Oh, I think he was swapping between Signet of Undeath and Signet of the Locust there. It might be interesting to see which one he decides to go for, because obviously one being a little bit more team support, one being more 1v1. Looks like he is going to opt for Signet of the Locust, so he's probably going to be opting for those 1v1s. Try again versus Kodo, it looks like, where, I mean, he really should have the advantage for the most part, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we do have the second game underway. Looks like Nas going to be sticking with that Soldier Amulet. No changes coming out from Chaith either. So take a look at the opening splits for both of these teams.
Hold on to your points.
Doesn't look like there's anything unusual right out of the get-go. Sometimes we'll see 5 members of the Abjured coming out at front gate, but we're going to be sending Wakey that home point. No 3-point push for the first time all tournament long coming out for this blue team. So they're just going to be pushing for a 2-point split, but the Abjured actually going to be the ones pushing for 3 points.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that free cap happen with Wakey there on the quarry. 1v1 happening between Phantom and Kodo. Kodo actually winning that. Kodo doing such a good job today, and all of his 1v1s really been handling those quite well here. But looking at the midpoint, we're already seeing Schnicky pretty low in this fight. Looks like he's going to be forced off the node. However, we're going to be seeing Toker already taken down here. Toker opting to go up there and try to get some heals for himself, but the stomp is going to go off, and Happy Kid is going to be back up in the fight because of it. They're going to get back over on the node, but Happy Kid's still pretty low right now at about 20% HP, and he's going to be opting to kind of shove off, stay up top a little bit, and stay alive versus Wakey, who is trying to get him
Mime
killed.
able to get that decap over at the quarry. That's a good pickup. Happy Kid threw down Time Warp. Maybe he was just trying to make sure he got his mantra of recovery off before he got bombarded by Chaith or someone. But Chaith is a main target at this midpoint. Shows Schnicky, who did get mowed there by the F5, went out from Chase. So able to take him down. Now Happy Kid's on top of Nos. Nos really low here. We do see that cap coming out forward. Spoookie over at the core. That's a good pickup. Schnicky still in the downstate. Did manage to get back up here through the portal. Wakey not going to allow that res to happen. Neither is Toker. So they're able to pick him up and get that easy kill there. But blue team still capping that waterfall. Able to hold on to 2 cap for a few seconds before Toker able to get that decap over at the quarry.
Yeah, and if they can take out Nostritex here, if they can take him out very, very quickly, and they might be able to. I mean, Pingu right now was the hard target, but he went into Plague form. Looks like Nostrich is right now about 2 seconds away from getting his heal off. Does still have about 50% Death Shroud. Does manage to get his heal here, it does seem. But blue team now in a position where with Wakey down, they could have gotten some decent AoE cleave. Didn't manage to do so, however. And now Nos is in his Plague form, going to be able to sustain for quite some time as Pingu drops into the downstate.
Yeah, both, I mean, multiple members of this red team. Pingu just kind of way overextended here. He's going to be no way that res is coming out for this blue team. They didn't even attempt it. Now Happy Kid under a lot of pressure by Toker, who's a little overextended, but has the, able to do that. And Happy Kid now taken down. Nos in the area as well. The Abjured reigning supreme over at the midpoint, looking to take this for their own. Still, Toker going for that decap over at the waterfall. Will he be able to get that? That would be a huge pickup. Kodo doesn't have lightning flash. Ooh, the decap comes out there from Toker. Really good pickup for them. They didn't want this Spoookie team having any hope whatsoever at the start of this game. Despite a nice 2-cap coming out from them early on.
Yeah, it looks like Mime was almost taken out. Does have his portal drop there, so it looks like he's going to be going over to the waterfall and try to support that. Try to probably win that as quickly as possible. However, it looks like he's going to opt to just help out the 1v1 where he almost completely eliminates Wakey. Actually does so. 5 gauge going to go for the Elixir F heal here, but that's not going to be enough to save him. Looks like Toker going to be getting there and apply some
that was a good stealth from Chaith.
Get back up.
Yeah, Chaith able to have a nice stealth there. Oh, does Elixir X, but gets Tornado, comes right out immediately. Does not want that. Now Happy Kid, Mime taking down Schnicky on the run, gets hit with the fire grab. Doesn't completely take him out. Should be okay for the time being. And Happy Kid under a lot of pressure. Toker, I think he went to the wrong side. He's got no support whatsoever. He's going to go for this decap. Going to be pursued by Toker. Perhaps, actually, no, just Wakey going to take down that 1v1. Should be okay for the time being. Mid still decapped. What else do we got going on here?
I mean, in this 1v1 here, I expect to see Mime actually do pretty well. He's done pretty well so far against Dagger Elementalist, but obviously not a favorable situation for him to be in, especially with the burn application. But it looks like he's going to portal right on out, get his teammate over there, Mime, so they're going to 2v1 and just, oh my god, delete him from the game here, and he's going to be completely out. So Happy Kid is going to go over towards the midpoint, actually, potentially, where most of his team actually is already dead here.
Yeah, we do see that decap coming out from Toker over at the waterfalls. Chaith kind of in limbo here. Not sure what he wants to do. Just gonna get that full cap with Fanaram. Waiting to regroup, see what they want to do. Got to reset here. Now we're gonna have multiple members of this blue team actually come off respawn towards the quarry, not towards that waterfall. Now I'm not so sure on this move because Fanaram and 5Gauge both moving on to Kodo. They're gonna 3v1 this. 5Gauge actually just sitting around mid, so they're gonna 2v1 this, but they need some help over at this waterfall. Otherwise, this is gonna be in favor of the Abjured. We'll have to see. It looks like Pigu coming off a respawn. He's actually gonna opt to come help out over here at the waterfall. I think Kodo should be okay for the time being. Over at the midpoint though, Chase seemingly the main target. Does Elixir S, gets Rampage. Mime almost obliterated, gets through the portal just in the nick of time.
Yeah, that would have been really bad, but then Schnicky looks like he's going to be able to do the same, so they're going to be able to get back onto Quarry, kind of stick around there, and come back through with all the pain that they can bring out. Chaith right now at about 50% HP, does go into Elixir S, able to get himself out of there for the time being, and does have his heal as well, but he's going to be out of most of his defensive utility for the next 15 seconds or so, so if they get back on him, then he's going to drop pretty quickly here. He does still have his Toss Elixir Z, sorry. Oh no, that is X. That is X that he has still at his disposal. So, and he does use it there to go on to Schnicky. Schnicky right now goes into downstate because of it, and it looks like with the cleave that Chaith is able to provide with this build here with the grenade kit, that's going to be a kill there for the Abjured.
Yeah, taking a look at the waterfall, we saw the blue team almost won that 2v2. They had Fanaram down, almost had Toker, but Toker got the res onto Fanaram. Now it's a turn of the tables have turned because now Kodo is the one on the defensive, going to be taken down in a matter of seconds unless he gets some great support from Pingu and nice peels. He has updraft, able to use it, trying to stay alive here. Should actually be okay. Great defense from Kodo trying to stay alive, but still the tables completely turned because they had Fanaram down. They almost had Toker down. Now Fanaram's getting super low. Doesn't have a whole lot left. Toker's got to do something. Fanaram gets taken into downstate as Nostra Jake's going to come over and try and help this fight. We'll have to see if he's able to get that res. Probably going to be able to because no cleave coming out there from the blue team. They got both Mesmers at the midpoint.
Yeah, Nos actually does have that traded well blood there, the ritual trait to get the teammates back up very quickly, and because of the blood magic tree is able to support them as well. And we're going to be seeing Kodo dropped right in the same spot here. Pingu not in really a position to get any reses going for him, for his teammate there, and he's at about 30% HP himself and dropping rather quickly as damage is still being dropped on him. He's at about 20%. So after this plague is over, Kodo actually dead now. After this plague is over, he's got Death Shroud, and after that he's eliminated.
Yeah, we do see Wakey actually taken out there by Happy Kid and Mime at the midpoint. Now 5Gauge is in the area, has about 50% HP. We do see that res from Nostra Jake's attempted, but nice knockback coming out from the Mesmers. They do get the full kill onto Happy. They might get the full kill, excuse me. I thought he had actually died, but I was mistaken. They were going in for it. Nos gonna be able to get it. Will he? So much damage coming out from the blue team. Nice Moa coming out from Chaith, but it didn't seem to be enough. Nostra Jake's not able to get that res. Forced out of that situation. But
Toger able to get it himself because he's also traded with that SA tree. So Wakey is back up into the fight. Nos is about to be dropped here, so that is one of their primary resers. It looks like the SR did come out, so Nos is going to be okay for the time being. Fanaram coming in for the res. They might actually manage to get this one here, and it looks like that is... Oh, the updraft actually comes out. Fanaram going to go for it once again, actually does get the full res off, but both teams already have people who are pretty low here. Kodo at about 10%, 20% maybe. Looks like he's going to be actually taken out by Toker just as the burning speed ends, and the stomp is going to come out. Kodo is eliminated from the fight, so Abjured taking this fight for the most part, as we see a lot of people splitting up and stringing out. Pingu going to go try to get the full cap on Waterfall, and it actually looks like that is going to happen. So 2-cap advantage in favor of the blue team.
Yeah, that was just a back and forth fight. We saw multiple members of the Abjured down. There's just lack of cleave, despite having two Mesmers, and lack of stomp potential coming out from this blue team. That's what they lost in the fight. They had Nos down multiple times, if I'm not mistaken. They did have Wakey down for so long, and Wakey still got res by Toker. Like you said, he was running SA. It really hurt them. It really didn't allow them to win that fight. I thought that was their chance to try and get back into this, but despite that, the Abjured are going to be holding on to this 2-cap, and killing Schnicky over here near his base, or at least relatively close to the midpoint. Just letting him bleed out. They're going to be at a huge disadvantage for the coming minutes here, especially if Happy Kids dies over at the waterfall. Staggered respawn is really not going to help them get back into this one, as the Abjured only 150 points away from victory.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close to that point here, and I expect to see if blue team can manage to win a fight here and get a 2-cap. Oh, Chaith actually getting the Elixir X to go off onto Rampage here. Didn't last too long, however, as he's dropped to about 10% HP. He's forced into Elixir S right now. gets a heal off for himself, able to get some stealth as well. He's going to be back into this fight and probably trying to take out Pingu, who is about 30%, 20%, dropping very quickly, 10%. Doesn't have too much life force left. Is in the downstate here. Schnicky on point to support. Looks like he's going to try for a res maybe, but Pingu just so much damage on him right now, and it looks like with Happy Kid taken out as well by Toker, Schnicky's going to opt to just go over to the graveyard where he might be able to get a decap, but with all the people kind of following up right now, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, Nas forced out of this quarry node. It looks like Mime and Kodo taking on that 2v2, doing a great job. They're going to have Mime actually try and train him down, but good fear cone out there from Nas, not going to allow him to stay on top of him. So we're going to have Kodo and Phantom in that 1v1 still there. That could take quite some time as the Abjured still holding on to that 2-cap as they get the waterfall node there. You know, I'm almost thinking this is game over. I don't foresee them getting back into this one. The Abjured have such a dominant stance on this game right here.
I mean, they did just manage to take out Toker. If they can take out Phanoram as well, which, I mean, should be the case. I mean, they need someone on that point so that if they take him out, they can turn it around very quickly. And they also need Mime to kind of follow up on that kill with Phanoram. Phanoram being pretty low. Able to get some heals off for himself in the meantime. And, you know, with Schnicky dying, I have to kind of agree with you. If Schnicky was able to stay alive, they were able to win that quarry node, push it over at the graveyard, win that very, very quickly. And, I mean, that is kind of a long shot in of itself, but they would have potentially been able to get up to 350 points by supporting that 1v1 that's happening right now with Wakey and Pingu, but and maybe get to 350 and push that Lord Rush like they're known for, but it's pretty much done at this point for sure.
Yeah, and Chait in that Elixir X gets the Rampage on top of a Happy Kid who's managing to stay alive. Really great job from Kodo keeping him up. Vampirin's going to save him just for a little bit longer. Rampage down to just a few seconds. There it goes, so he should be okay. I know he has actually taken down there as Nos and Toker both plus that fight. Not Toker going for the decap over at the quarry, but despite that, that is going to be game over. The Abjured taking game number 2. Crowned your weekly number 39 victors for the how many weeks in a row? It's been quite some time.
Ugh. Definitely looking at about 30 or 35 at this point, somewhere in that ballpark that they've been dominating these weeklies. So I believe we have one more weekly before the monthly. If not, this is the last one. Or
no,
sorry,
we have, if I'm not mistaken, we've got 2 more weeklies before the, 1 more weekly before the WTS and 2 more weeklies between the month before the monthly.
Right.
Yes.
I was talking about WTS, but yeah, so we have 1 more weekly before WTS. And this one was a good one for sure. Abjured taking it once again here, but and showing their dominance and showing why they deserve to go to WTS on August 8th at Gamescom over there in Cologne, Germany. So definitely a good showing from them, and definitely best of luck as well. But I believe we also have
our gem giveaway. Yes, we do have our gem giveaway. So I believe if you're ready for this, I believe you are.
I think Wilco is ready.
Wilco is ready for it. Our final gem giveaway of the week. What are you thinking for this one?
Let's go for Abjured since they won the match today. Right. We're gonna go #Abjured here.
#Abjured to be entered into that gem giveaway. But as we wait for that to progress, any last thoughts on that last matchup that we just had?
I mean, it's definitely been interesting to watch teams get closer and closer and closer. I mean, the Abjured definitely did win and pretty convincingly, but teams have been getting closer. I mean, we saw, I don't know what it was, maybe 2 months ago, as of the latest, being basically where teams were getting dominated. Teams were just calling GG after 2 minutes. But now we're actually seeing fights happen, real matches occur versus this team that has been so dominant for so very, very long. And it's been an interesting thing to watch and kind of develop over time. And it's definitely something to look forward to going into WTS, where this team that has been dominant is going to be going up some new different teams that have been dominant over in EU with TCG and RNG, and as well as we can't count out China. We've seen some of what they can do so far, and it's pretty good. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe even China does good. So
I'm just interested to see what their meta is. In the last meta, we had both WTSs, right? This is a completely different meta. We don't know what they're doing. They don't know. Who knows if they're watching our weeklies?
Oh, they're definitely watching.
We'll have to see. But we'll have to see what they're going to bring to the table. Of course, that is still 2 weeks away, so we'll have to talk about that more in the next weekly. But before we do that gem giveaway, I do want to go ahead and tell you guys, if you have social media, go ahead and follow ESL on Facebook. That would be facebook.com/ESLGW2, and on Twitter @ESLGW2. If you're interested in playing in the Guild Wars 2 tournaments for ESL, you can head over to play.eslgaming/Guild Wars 2. And if you have Twitter, I already asked this. You can follow myself on Twitter at StormGW2 and Heurix and the rest of the DPS crew over at Digital Pro Sports. So that's it for social media. I don't have a whole lot else. Are we ready for that gem giveaway? Have we done it yet?
I believe Wilco is rolling now, so make sure you guys stay tuned with Dr. Wilco in the chat because he's going to be rolling for winners. Looks like the winner is Snobbish Guardian.
Yeah, Snobbish Guardian. Congrats on your gems. Hopefully you're here, able to get that one. Anyhow,
make sure
guys,
you post something in the chat, and if he winds up not being there, oh, he is actually there. So congratulations to Snobbish Guardian for winning the last giveaway. So thanks for watching, you guys, today. It's been a lot of fun. Congratulations once again to Abjured for winning, I believe, number 34 and number 35. So
yeah, they'll be taking home $400, and I believe it is Spoookie taking home $100 for themselves. So congrats to all the teams. Thank you for participating. And again, thank you all for watching us today. We'll be back next week with the weekly number 40. We'll hope to see you then. Have a good night.